And we're back.
We are back.
OpenAgents after party. Brandon Keys, the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend. What else do you do?
What do you mean? I
feel like you do everything.
Nah, man, I just stay in my lane. Content, baby. Content. That's what I do, man.
How's everything?
Next, cash and checks, Car. That's what I
everything?
do, man.
How's everything going with you?
It's good, man. It is good. It's vibes are high here. It seems like we got the brewskis flowing, and OpenAgents now with this grand new office. This is amazing.
Yeah, keep talking. Let me set this up real quick.
All right, keep talking,
tweets.
Keep yapping here, Keys. Yeah, man, it's been good. Obviously, there's been the energy mining summit going on downstairs too. Seems pretty cool. I mean, obviously in Austin, you got a lot of Bitcoin related stuff happening all under one building.
A lot of heavy hitters this week.
You got Car Gonzalez.
Nah,
you got
small
Car
hitter.
Gonzalez, and then you got Car Gonzalez, baby.
I got Brandon Keys. Here, keep going. Let me.
We got we got a lot of different things going on here in Austin. So a lot of great stuff, and man, big things ahead. So a lot of exciting times going on in the Bitcoin space. I know a lot of people think summertime's slowing down, but I think summertime's heating up.
Yeah, it's definitely heating up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Can you open the blinds? We're live already, Ovi.
We are live.
If you want me to talk to anybody, feel free to bring them in. But tell us how did the conference go? How was the conference for you?
Honestly, I haven't spent as much time down there as I would have liked. Doing some recon video stuff for Crowd Health, which will probably come out soon.
Oh, cool. What's going on with Crowd Health? Let us know.
I don't know if I could divulge the full video yet. It is a little it's being developed.
Some cool stuff though.
Yeah. I had a little spy footage, man. I got like spy glasses, little like brick camera charger or like phone charger thing. So
did you really
undercover?
Oh wow.
So I think that's all I can divulge at this moment, but maybe a little bit about it. It's about like dentistry stuff, like uncovering a little what's going on in that industry. Teeth are good. Gums are not good. I went to 3 different dentists this week. So that's been taking up a lot of my time. What's going on with your teeth? It's I guess like I haven't gotten the cleanings or something like that. So it's just my teeth are healthy, but to get deeper in there, I need a deeper gum cleaning or something like that. So,
dude, who you got in the Spurs? Did you see the Spurs game yesterday?
I haven't watched any NBA game in a long time, dude.
Dude, it was crazy.
Yeah, Wemby, I hear is the problem is I'm a Bulls fan, and the management of the Chicago Bulls essentially just wants to be mediocre because they could still sell out the stadium with being mediocre, so they don't care about being good. Which is my biggest gripe with the Bulls, is that Reinsdorf needs to sell the team, basically.
Dang, wow, going hard.
Yeah, man. Hey, sell the team. They just brought in a new GM. He's an Aggie, so I'm hoping the Aggie can turn it around.
Well, what if they just bought Bitcoin instead? Just held it.
I mean, hey, it's interesting because a lot of the Chicago sports teams, they've like really gone into the whole like renovating all that kind of stuff because obviously Chicago is a very historic sports town, to say the very least. But they partner big with like DraftKings, like even Wrigley Field, the biggest, one of the more historic stadiums in the world, has they put in a sports book in the stadium.
Where was this at?
Wrigley Field in Chicago, and they actually just closed the sports book because I don't know. But yeah, so it's been around. Like the Wrigley Field was the last stadium in the MLB to put day games in there because they didn't put up lights until like early 2000s. So yeah, they were historically just all about day games. They put in like a DraftKings sports book in the stadium, and then they just recently got out of that. But I mean, they've it's so historic. I don't know. I don't want to sit here and call my dad old, but I was talking to some of my relatives, and like my dad and his buddies would go to the same bars that me and my friends go to when we go to the games out there. So yeah, I think it's it's a shame, but like the fiat realm is kind of destroying a lot of these historic parks and things like that.
Yeah, you hate to see it.
I'm on this huge kick too lately about, I mean, maybe I'll give some of the listeners some alpha here. Go dig into all the industries that private equity is going into deep. You'll see the slow degradation of all of those industries. So it's happening not only in like professional sports, but also kids sports. Now with AAU and all that, they're starting to get bought up by private equity. And then, I just saw something. It's like 1 in 8 or maybe 1 in every 8 apartment complexes now are owned by private equity, and they're calling them the luxury apartments. And I don't know if any listeners here have had any experience living in one of these luxury apartments, but it's all like putting lipstick on a pig.
Gosh, wow, sounds bad.
Yeah, I'm going in on these private equity guys. Maybe more video content on that coming out soon.
Where are you headed to next, Brandon?
So I'm going to Miami, little brother's bachelor party. So shout out to Miami. And
he's getting married pretty soon.
He's getting married in September in Chicago. And then I'm going to Budapest for a little bit. So if any listeners out there have any recommendations on Budapest, let me know. And then I'm going to Prague.
Oh, you're speaking at Prague?
Yes, I'll have one panel.
Bring that up.
Hasn't been announced yet, but
so you're going to this here. Let me share this tab here. So you're going to
BTC Prague.
BTC Prague. Oh, interesting.
Use promo code Green Candle if you want to go. Shameless plug.
Wow. Just got that in there, didn't you?
Shameless plug.
So are you hanging out with what are you gonna do here?
So I'm speaking on a panel, and I don't think it's been announced yet officially, but rumblings of Keys having his own keynote as well.
Wow.
So maybe moving up in the world. This all started here with good old Carr.
Yeah,
first live stuff ever.
Oh yeah, you were doing live streams.
Yeah, first time I was ever doing any type of content related to that stuff.
Forgot about that.
First opportunity was Pleb Lab. So
was that your first opportunity? What was I thinking?
Yeah, man. I don't know.
Maybe I saw talent.
I don't know. I don't know what you're thinking. You just are like, this kid, he wants a yap behind a mic, so maybe we'll let him do it.
You did live streams for how long? What was your longest
was it consecutive live stream?
Well, because you did them at the old Pleb Lab, right? How long did you go for? Because it was during the event, right?
Yeah, so basically we did, that was like 4 to 6 hours, maybe. It was long.
Straight?
Well, straight is loose. I mean, like basically what we would do.
I want to beat it today. What's the longest live stream?
That was probably the longest ones I would do. I did a live stream at the Vegas, at Vegas last year. Not this past one, but the year before, they had me do the live desk of the Bitcoin golf tournament or whatever from the Bitcoin Sports Market. That was like 8 hours.
That's the longest live stream you've ever done. 8 hours.
Yeah, it was pretty exhausting.
Wow. What do you do for that? Do you just let people talk?
Probably doing what you're doing right now. You're gonna just bring in a bunch of guests, and then you talk to them and you let them talk, because and then more of this, right? You need some of that Coke or the caffeine coming in your veins so you can keep it on, man.
So we're gonna see you at Prague, is what we're saying. Click on program.
We'll be at Prague, and then
you're gonna be speaking somewhere here. Look for him on the schedule. Do you know what stage you're gonna be on?
So I'm gonna be on the main stage, last panel, the first day, with Jeff Booth and Natalie Brunel.
There you go. You might see him right here.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna be on this panel. Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be on with them, and then I don't know. I think.
How did you land that? Did you just reach out to them, or what happened?
So I'm helping them with some media stuff now too. So I'm gonna do some podcast stuff for them. We had the first one released with Jack Cruz, maybe last week or the week before.
Jack Cruz?
Jack Cruz is exiled neurosurgeon.
Is he here? Oh, this guy here.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I've seen one of his podcasts before.
Yeah, so he's been on Danny Jones and some of the ones. He knows RFK Jr. He's part of the El Salvador. I think he's running the El Salvador.
Oh wow.
Decentralized medicine type of stuff there. So, good guy, crazy, off the wall. So if you want to hear a firecracker of a talk, you should come listen to Jack Cruz.
Follow him is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean he's really good. He's opened my eyes to a lot of health related stuff.
There you go.
So that's kind of what I got going on.
Interesting. Well, I appreciate you coming by. Did you have anything else you wanted to share? Or was there? Oh, actually, we should probably bring up your green candle.
YouTube. Sure. Check me out. Green Candle YouTube.
Are you still doing the YouTube stuff? Or you quit already, or?
Still putting out videos. I put one out maybe 2 days ago or a day and a half.
We need to get you above 100K subscribers.
Yeah, man. Hey, this is gonna be the push I need right here. We're gonna do that.
What video should people watch? Like if you're
Just
getting
go
into
down the rabbit hole, man.
if you're into green candle, this is your first green candle video. First time ever hearing about Brandon Keys.
Just go into like videos and then just click the latest one. I think like all my ones, I'm kind of like
so watch this one maybe.
Yeah, I'm telling like my recent thesis. This is all in like the next 90 days. How I think Bitcoin is gonna either explode or go into like a big bear market.
I think you were right when we talked about this last year. You kind of predicted it was going to go down to 90K.
Yeah. So basically my thesis, like in short of this video, if you want to see the more in depth, is basically like the next 90 days, we saw the Clarity Act kind of move to the next realm. So we had Kevin Warsh come in and the Clarity Act passing all kind of at the same time. And so the Clarity Act, I mean, passing is like a loose term. It just moved on to the next stage. So basically it has to get all the way through in the next 90 days, or else it'll probably get pushed to 2030. So regulatory clarity, I know Bitcoin doesn't really need that, but a lot of the institutional players who would maybe put more money into it would want that, because in short, the way it is right now is if, another apprehensive, I guess, administration would come in towards Bitcoin, then they could reverse everything that's been done already. What this Clarity Act does, it essentially set that in stone, so nobody could really change it. So this all kind of needs to be moved in the next 90 days. And I think Trump and his administration want to kind of push it on July 4th. And then on top of that, Kevin Warsh, he's going to cut rates more than likely, or make some decisions.
Is this the new Fed chair?
He's the new Fed chair.
When is he coming in, Brandon?
He came in last week. And so like whether he cuts rates in the next 90 days or not, I don't think is like a huge press on like what Bitcoin's going to do.
You think that's already priced in, is what you're saying?
I think the language that he's going to be using is going to be really important, because Trump basically brought him in to cut rates. So more liquidity and then more institutional clarity would come in. I think a lot of these Bitcoin treasury companies that we've seen, basically buy Bitcoin and then disappear from a year, or maybe even sell off or pivoting into AI, whatever. I think that's going to be real determinant here in the next, like I said, 3 months. And if more liquidity is available and they get a little bit more regulatory clarity, that can make Bitcoin either go up or down, depending on whether or not they buy or sell. That's kind of the whole thesis of that video. So I dive into.
So are we going more down, you think, or are we going higher?
I mean, I think like I said, I think it depends on like how this quickly goes. And I think, we've almost been conditioned to sell the news at this point. But the biggest difference is like these next 3 months it's not just going to be a one-off news. It's going to be multiple things that have to happen in order for this to pass. So it's like basically like every other week we could get some big news. So instead of, all right, we see a little pump today and then, it goes down and we don't hear anything for the next couple of months, it's going to be like, all right, we get a little pump, maybe we go back down, but we'll keep getting those little pumps ups. And then that's when it, can kind of go parabolic.
Wow.
So yeah, that's the whole thesis.
Well,
there.
Check out the show. Check out Green Candle. Thank you, Brandon, for coming by today and saying hi. I appreciate you.
I gotta go get this hair chopped. I gotta, this bachelor party. I gotta go get looking good for when I go on stage. So
yeah, dude.
Yeah, so all the ladies start to holler at me after I get my big stage time. Car. All right, man.
Brandon,
Car, you're a legend, brother.
Can you bring in the next person?
Yeah, sure. Who should I bring in?
I don't know. Whoever wants to come in, but make sure somebody comes in.
Okay.
I appreciate you. Yeah, so we're live right now from OpenAgents headquarters here in Austin, Texas. I have it's been a busy day. It's been a busy day for me here. We have some beer flowing out there. We have some drinks flowing. If you're in Austin, come down, Littlefield Building, floor 5. But yeah, it's been a pretty busy day. A lot of stuff's moving, a lot of stuff shaking. I'm gonna have a drink right now, but yeah, I should just mention this is sponsored by OpenAgents. So OpenAgents is a AI frontier lab here in Austin, Texas, and they're actually, believe it or not, they're one of the only companies in the entire AI ecosystem that is actually doing AI open source software. So, hey, let's come sit down. Yeah, have a seat. Thank you, Brandon. Hey, how's it going, Mason? Mason, tell us all about you.
Me? I'm just a humble Bitcoiner in Austin,
Well,
working for Giga.
Oh, you're working for Giga. Let's bring that up.
Yeah, Giga Energy.
Energy. Let's do it. Yeah. So tell us about Giga Energy.
Yeah, so Giga Energy started as a very small Bitcoin company in 2019 with flare gas mining sites in East Texas.
Oh, is this the one up here, right up here outside of Austin?
No, we're actually located in Houston.
Oh, in Houston. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So now we've grown from a very small Bitcoin company into a massive, full-scale energy infrastructure, AI infrastructure company. So we do full site development where we eat our own dog food, use our own transformers, equipment, mining boxes, and now AI.
Nice.
And we also do, we can step in at any point in the process, whether you just need transformers or you just need equipment or whatever. We do it all. So yeah.
Yeah. And what brings you to Austin today?
I live here in Austin.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're here for the summit. How was it?
It was great. I have been in Bitcoin for a long time personally and a few years professionally, but it's my first role in energy and in mining itself. So I learned a lot today. It's very informative. Did you go?
No, I was up here getting ready.
Nice.
Yeah, so tell us more about it. Like where do you see a lot of this going? What do you think about the AI boom that's kind of happening, especially on the energy side?
I'm very bullish. I always say that the two most important technologies of my generation are Bitcoin and AI. I don't know if this is like a Bitcoin show, but Bitcoin as the underlying monetary asset, fiat, will help fix the perverse incentives and fix the issues, I think, in society. And then AI at the same time is we're living through an enlightenment and we're learning so much that we didn't know before. And I think when it comes to energy and sites, they're going to work together.
So tell us how does that happen? On the I guess so we have some pictures here. Like, is it like yeah, it looks like there's power distribution. Can you tell us how that? Like, can you explain that in like very basic terms to people that are watching from home? Maybe are just software engineers, or maybe people that are just building. Like, how would you explain this to them?
Yeah. So you have the electricity that goes, like, imagine in the countryside, those big transmission lines, those big metal wires. That if you want to use that for a mining site or a HPC, that's an AI site, high powered compute, I believe is the acronym. Then you need to step down that electricity. So you need to take that from the transmission line, step it down through transformers and substations so that you can use the voltage inside of because you wouldn't want the voltage that's going through those transmission lines to go through your Bitcoin mining site or your AI data center or your house for that matter. So if you see, like, outside of any commercial business, you've got transformers, like those big green boxes that sit outside, and that's what steps down the electricity. And we build all of it. So we've got factories in Houston, California, and around the world that builds all of this.
Oh, wow. So basically you can have like this sort of deployment in a stranded where you can find stranded energy is what you're saying. Can you do that too as well?
So most of our sites are on grid. We focus on grid these days, but that doesn't mean that you can't use a Giga container if you have off grid power. You just have to have that. You have to operate it. So it's a very difficult business. You got to be in the arena and out there fixing things, but it can be very lucrative if you do it right, especially with tax considerations.
Nice. Cool, man. Really cool. Do you have any questions for him?
What do you see your business being in the next 5 years?
Oh, there you go.
Next 5 years. I mean, I hope to be at Giga for the rest of my career, and it's growing like crazy right now. So in 5 years, I mean, I'm very bullish in the company. I think we're working on projects. We have more factories, more employees, more power generation, because I fundamentally believe that the more energy you have as a country or an individual, the more prosperous your life is. So the countries who have the most power generation and use the most power, their citizens have the healthiest and wealthiest lives. It's the same thing for a human. Like, you want to go on vacation, you want to, fly a jet to the island, want to, you want this product shipped to your house, Amazon. Everything is a derivative of energy. And the more we have in all forms, like oil and gas, solar, wind, nuclear, everything, I think it's all good. So the fact that it's a very long way of saying Giga is helping create more energy in infrastructure, and I'm very bullish on that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So tell us about this map right here. What is it describing here? It looks like it says powering AI infrastructure across the country. And then, like, is this where you guys are located at, all these spots? Or
Yeah, so all the blue dots are sites that we've built, and the orange dots are factories, and I think there's some gray dots there for some of our offices.
Oh, and do you work at one of these? Where do you work at? Do you work at all these places, or?
I work everywhere. I'm always traveling to sites, but I work out of Austin. I'm in Houston a lot. Got a lot of travel coming up for conferences, things like this. Luckily, this one got to, I just live very close to this building, actually.
Nice,
so I just got to walk here.
Well, it's cool. Well, thank you for coming on the stream. Is there anything else that we should explain here for Giga if people are interested in learning more about you or learning more about the company you work for?
Yeah, if you need anything when it comes to power, you need substations, you mine Bitcoin, you want AI, hit me up. My email is mason@gigaenergy.com. Pretty easy to find. And let's power the modern world.
Awesome. Thanks, Mason.
Nice to meet you, man.
Can you bring somebody else in so we can meet some more people? Do you want to come on real quick? Thanks, Mason. Yeah. So, so tell us who you are and what you're working on.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gabriel.
Here, speaking to the mic, Gabriel.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gabriel. I'm a creative technologist, but full stack engineer too. So I'm just excited about anything AI, crypto, and just building the future, even architecture, I would say.
Yeah. So you actually just got employed this week from OpenAgents, or maybe you're just doing some specific work. I don't know. We'll see. But what kind of stuff are you working on with OpenAgents?
Oh, so currently I'm building a secret application for internal.
You said secret application?
Yeah.
Really? That's what you were doing today earlier?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Internal use for us to use. And then
wow.
Once I'm done with that project, I'm going to move on to more open agent related tasks. But so far, so good. It feels like we're at the forefront of technology. Everyone here is just so inspiring to talk to, just the energy that they have. I feel like we are in the right room right now.
Yeah. Can you just talk about like OpenAgents and kind of what you think about their stack and all that kind of stuff?
Definitely. I won't take too much long, but basically what we're building is the future of computing. Instead of wasting all those resources, we build an agentic system that make good use of it. And when you think about it, we don't want waste. We don't want more data center. We want efficient use of computing and finding a way to architize it in a good manner for the future of humanity.
That's awesome, dude. I appreciate you, Gabriel. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Guest, right?
Until next time.
See you later. Awesome. Cool. So we're gonna meet somebody else here. Hey, Ovi, can you just start lining people up, and we'll keep going. All right, cool. Hey, can you bring me a Dos Equis? Nice to meet you.
Howdy. Sterling.
Sterling, nice to meet you, Sterling. I'm Carr. So what company do you work for, Sterling?
I work for Cholla Incorporated.
How do you spell that?
CHOLLA.
LLA Incorporated. Okay, let's see if we can pull it up. Is that it right there? Cholla.
Yes, that is it.
Cool. Yeah, so tell us all about Cholla.
So right there on the homepage, you can see it says energy abundance for all, and that's our mission statement. So in all of our ventures and pursuits, we are trying to push the frontier on, kilowatts per capita. That's really the metric that we need to focus on, because empirically, as power production goes up per capita, quality of life increases as well. And so to be more focused on exactly what that looks like, West Texas is the perfect example. It's our case study. It's going to be the place where all this innovation happens, and it's for a few reasons. We've got the wind belt that runs north and south through West Texas. We've got wind running that way. We've got solar running east-west. Then we've got the Permian Basin with all of the nat gas production. And so you've got firm generation through natural gas, and then you've got variable generation through solar and wind. And so it creates a pricing climate where in the month of February, and at Choya, I'm a Bitcoin miner. I run the load center as the supervisor.
Mhm.
And for the month of February, 19 out of the 28 days, we were paid to take electricity. And that's very jarring for most people that are paying a regular commercial or a regular residential power bill. Like the fact that you could get paid to take electricity is quite a novel thought.
That is pretty interesting. Wow. How beautiful is it out there in West Texas? I don't think people talk about that too much. They always talk about all the kind of desolate land that's out there, but I don't think it ever do justice to how beautiful it is out there.
I really appreciate that. It's an acquired taste for sure. And I like to joke that when people are out there for long enough, you become a really kind and considerate person because the environment itself is so brutal. You know, you've got the heat, the wind, and all of the desert things that come with that climate. And by the end of the day, after you and your boys have toiled away in the field for so long, it's nice to just be able to relax and have a good conversation.
Right. Can you talk about the team and about what you guys are building over there as far as like how it's taken off, how it's grown over the past?
Yeah, so we had a focus on staying small and working with the local community. I am the local that was brought into the operation to be a part of the team. And watching what we built over there grow and develop has been incredible. So our main focus is we want to test everything. We like to joke that we're the innovation lab for the Bitcoin mining community. We've got Bitmain, we've got WhatsMiner, we've got Canons, we've got Avalons, we've got some proto rigs on the way. We're excited to get those in.
Nice.
We're testing containers from Upstream, from Giga, from Foghash, Hayden Immersion. We've got a Cormit box as well. Those guys built a pretty neat box. And so being able to test positive air pressure, negative air pressure, hydro, and immersion all on one facility, running the same power quality and that sort of stuff makes a huge difference in analyzing empirically how efficient things are, how reliable things are. And it's just been really neat to see all that come to fruition.
So Chola's been around throughout the years. It looks like it started off in the 1900s.
Yeah. So
wow.
We're traditionally we're an oil and gas company that was just, trying to wildcat out here in West Texas and East Texas to get, some of that black gold out of the ground. And Gideon, our current CEO, he found Bitcoin in the mid 2010s and was completely enveloped by it and knew the mission statement to be true, that like Bitcoin is energy money, it's freedom technology, and it's the way that it's the way moving forward. And so bringing that to life was such a big ask for somebody that was not in the space, that was not directly involved, but Gideon went full bore. So he built Hodl Ranch in 2017 or 18. So Hodl Ranch was one of the first large scale deployments of Bitcoin mining in the world. It was a 150 megawatt project by the time it was done. And nothing like that had ever been built before up until that point. Gideon was the stage setter for lots of these hyperscalers and data centers to come in and acquire deals. Yeah, Gideon set the standard for what this deal flow is supposed to look like. What does it look like when you're servicing hundreds of megawatts up to gigawatts of power? How did those negotiations go? He did a lot of the pioneering work.
Wow, I did not know that. That's fascinating. And then it looks like in 23, some more stuff happened here.
Yeah, so that's when South Dun, the facility that I operate at, that's when we opened that up. And we took a radically different approach than we did with Hodl Ranch. So Hodl Ranch was get as many S9s as you can, just get them crammed in there. Let's get this thing powered on. And we hope that the math crunches and works out. It was really fly by the seat of our pants. Even though the project ended up being sold off and parceled off in pieces, it was a great learning experience. And it really set the groundwork for what we wanted to do with the mine in 2023, which was never to get big, but to have enough stake in the game to say we're going to go negotiate with ERCOT, with Encore for power agreements. We're going to work on, testing methodologies for all of this equipment. And now we're pioneering some off-grid stuff with hybrid DC compute. So we've got solar coupled with batteries and Bitcoin mining, and we're taking advantage of an arbitrage opportunity in the solar market. So all solar competes against itself when the sun shines, because the sun shines the same for everybody at the same time. And so you can take that energy and store it in a battery, but now you're trying to time the window in which you're supposed to offload that extra energy.
Yeah. So how does that? Yeah.
So typically what happens is if you look at the ERCOT grid in the marketplace, you see this power being dumped off right at the end of the day as the transition from solar and wind and kind of more nat gas generation comes online. So you'll see those batteries supplement there. And then it kind of tails off through the nighttime. We typically don't have a demand spike at night unless it's really cold. And so those batteries will just sit idle all evening. And then right before the sun comes up, they're like, well, we've got all this power. We have to dump it now. So we'll see a morning dip on price. As soon as those batteries stop discharging, though, we have this like rubber banding effect that shoots the price up super high in the morning while people are drying their hair, washing, getting ready for
So
whatever.
you can see that in real time, huh?
Yeah, we have 5-minute price data from ERCOT, so you can see that stuff in real time.
That's fascinating. Tell us a little bit about these different divisions that you guys have.
So
yeah, and what each of them are planning on doing. Obviously, petroleum.
right.
Yeah.
So Cholla Petroleum is the traditional oil and gas company with all of their structured assets and traditional way of working. And so we, as the Bitcoin side, didn't want to mess with what the petroleum side has going on. And so Cholla Energy is all of our Bitcoin mining operations. That's our testing methods for solar, off grid. And we've got a few other things in there that are kind of just laboratory experimental things.
Cool. Okay, nice.
And then Cholla Ventures is our acquisition arm. So what we're doing with that is buying up strategic pieces of land near substations, developing it in such a way that it's ready for a power contract, and securing said power contract, and then brokering that to a hyperscaler. And we like to say that we do that as responsibly as possible. So
is the market ripe right now, or is that something that's it's seasonal, or if it's just
the market is very ripe. It's extremely hot here in Texas right now for all of these data centers to come and move in. And when you have a negotiated power contract already in place, it makes the sale super easy. But some of the concessions that we make in these deal flows is that, you're not going to screw over the local community.
Right.
You have some obligations to the people that you're going to be working around to meet some quotas, whether that's labor force participation from the local community, water, filtration, or some sort of systems to make sure that we're not wasteful in our endeavors, and those sorts of things. So we want to make sure that not only is the property transformed into the state that it's usable, but it's also amenable to all the people that live around it as well.
That makes a ton of sense, because people have to live around it and raise kids and families around it too as well. And that's a big part of West Texas. Awesome. Thank you so much, Mason, or is it Mason?
It's Sterling.
I'm sorry. Mason was the last guy. Thank you so much, Sterling.
Absolutely.
For coming through. Is there anything we can share here? How can people get a hold of you if they're watching this and they're interested in being a part of what you're building here?
If anybody's interested, you can go ahead and hit me at Sterling. It's Sterling at chollainc.com.
Okay. Or they can just hit contact here, maybe.
Yeah,
put a message here. Just ask for Sterling.
Yeah, that'll work.
Sterling, like that. Boom. There you go. And then that's how you do it. Awesome. Thank you so much, Sterling, for coming through.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you.
It's fun.
If you can bring somebody else in, I'd love to talk to them.
All right. I think I might be able to find somebody.
Oh, it looks like we got somebody. Okay. Yeah, or if you find anybody's cool stuff. We're learning all about here we go. Hey, Gabriel, can you grab me a Dos Equis? Yeah. Appreciate you. Yeah, so we're talking to a lot of people today. It looks like I'm kind of surprised. I mean, I feel like I've grown up in Texas most of my life, but and I've had friends that worked in refineries, brothers, family, all that kind of thing. But it's really when you start meeting them, like just now, where you start seeing just kind of the really big impact they do have on come through. They really do have on the rest of Texas. I mean, it's such a big thing to have. As I take a drink here, such a big thing to have these guys do this stuff. Okay, so let's bring on our next guest. Hey, how's it going, Jonathan? Nice to meet you. I'm Carr, and we're just doing a live show here.
Excellent.
What's your company so we can talk about it?
Sure. So my company name is BitPetro.
BitPetro.
And yeah, I have,
Is that it right here? This one?
let's see, that is.
Okay,
it,
cool.
100%. So I am the Bitcoin landman.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, man.
Yes, tell us all about that.
So I started in 99 in the oil field, and in 2012 I ran into Bitcoin mining. Decided I'd give it a shot, and eventually was able to sell a 4-well package for Bitcoin. And I thought that was a really good idea, and we took that and created a company called BitPet that was trying to effectively do that for the whole industry.
Wow.
Unfortunately, we didn't have all our ducks in a row from a regulatory perspective, and it was way too early. This was 2014.
Okay.
So the regulators basically came to me and said, "You shall not divorce a dollar from the petro. Do you understand, son?"
Yeah.
So
That
I
happens,
kind of stopped doing that and focused on consulting, being a landman for midstream, upstream energy companies. Eventually, I started a humanitarian project using Bitcoin in the border of Venezuela and Colombia. That led me to working with Texas Christian University, my alma mater, and
nice.
being kind of their go-to guy for Bitcoin and just kind of understanding that.
I see that you wrote a book here too.
Yeah. So that's
What's this about? This is interesting. Rebellion's Ledger. I love the title already.
Thank you. So the book is, I've given enough lectures at the university that they asked me to come in and teach. And so part of that was creating a curriculum and a book that was at the master's level for Bitcoin that had never been done. And so that's effectively what the book is. I'm borrowing from physics, from the 3-body problem in physics. And I argue that Bitcoin is a 3-body problem with 3 bodies inside of each of the 3 bodies. So, yeah, if you look at protocol, ice, and land as the 3 main bodies, then protocol has the hash rate, it has governance, it has layers, and those are the 3 bodies of the protocol body. Hash price has spot, derivatives, and macro. And then land, which is my expertise. And I think that's the part that I bring to Bitcoin that's a little different, as I talk about how it interacts with the real world energy, particularly around energy production, waste mitigation, and also governance, the law of land, how the law of code and the law of man kind of interplay. And finally, risk reward, kind of bringing back my humanitarian hat and saying, okay, Bitcoin clearly offers the world, especially the global South, a tool for freedom and a tool for humanitarian aid, because I've done it. And so if you take that and then you also compare it to the Gini coefficient and the risks of uneven wealth distribution and stuff like that, then you can come up with a score for that. So the idea is that if you go up to the website, actually, if you go to where it says, the book, it should take you to a dashboard, and the dashboard is actually the book in an actual financial model form.
Oh, you have it right here. Okay,
Yeah,
we can
there you
show
go.
that here and right there in the front. You can see that. It's the back side.
Yeah,
you
so
go.
it's my attempt at trying to explain Bitcoin as a tool for policymakers, educators, something a little broader than just maybe your business person.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, this is fantastic. I appreciate you coming on here and talking about it. How have you thought? What have you thought about the summit and the conference this week, and just all the people that you're meeting here, and hospitality, all that kind of stuff?
Sure.
What'd you think
Summit
about
was
it?
great. Rod did a fantastic job. The speakers were excellent. Right size room. I really think that's the sweet spot for a lot of signal. And yeah, I mean, it's super well organized. The events were easy to get to. It wasn't too loud or anything like that. So I feel like a lot of the industry is going to continue to get very good things from TEMS. I hope to help them come up to Fort Worth.
Nice. That'd be awesome. Well, Jonathan, if people want to get a hold of you, can they just book a call? Is that
Absolutely.
what kind of business interests are you looking for? what kind of stuff or should people be reaching out for?
Sure. So if you are in the space of Bitcoin mining or in the space of data center acquisitions, I am a contract landman / VP of land. That means that I identify the sites. I can tell you where there is power, where it's cheap, and then effectively create heat maps that tell you where to go. And we follow the orange brick road. So
Nice.
when
There's not a problem you can't solve, it sounds like.
something like that. So I try to map it and then give you the option of which sites do you want, and then we go after those.
Nice. And then you're on Twitter too as well. Go ahead, hit follow. I'll follow.
Yeah, on
I'll
Twitter, you
follow
guys can
him right
catch.
there.
I do post some articles. I'm often on Spaces, and so you can catch me on X. And yeah, if you guys are ever in Fort Worth, the Fort Bitcoin meetup is every third Wednesday. Sometimes it's on a Tuesday if I have to come to something like this, but it's our monthly meetup. We go to different parts of the city and we just hang out and talk Bitcoin.
That's awesome. Yeah, we have a lot of friends up there in Fort Worth and love that area. It's just so beautiful over there. Way different vibe than Austin.
Yeah.
I feel like
sure.
Austin's just it's just a melting pot of all sorts of personalities. You never know what you're gonna get.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on, Jonathan. Is there anything else that we should go over? Or
No, actually, one last thing I would say is I feel really blessed. TCU has officially called me and asked me to start teaching Bitcoin in the global energy stack.
really? Congratulations
thank
on
you.
that.
So January 27, I
Wow.
will start teaching at the business school. And so we officially have a business school master's level class.
Wow, that's
that Bitcoiners can
amazing.
take.
That's amazing. So they'll be a part of some sort of plan or degree for graduates.
Yeah, this will be part of the Energy MBA.
Nice.
And eventually, if we can prove that there's high enough demand from the students, then it will effectively turn into a high density compute program. It'll be an interdisciplinary program. We'll be combining engineering, business, and computer science.
Yeah, it's a big thing. We had the other company I work for. We did one for UT here in 2021 for the McCombs Business School, and getting Bitcoin in there like fundamentally changed. I would say the city for sure. So yeah, I totally am even more bullish on Fort Worth now. Now that we know
if you're
that
ever up there, Fort Bitcoin is mi casa, es tu casa.
Yeah, because I just know that it just does wonders to you just kind of see it. It just kind of spreads across, and the next group people come in, all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Well, excellent, man. Thank you for having me.
Well, I appreciate you.
Of course.
Thanks, Jonathan. If
Yeah.
you can bring somebody else in, whoever wants to come in.
For sure. And again, it's on Amazon.
Oh,
if you guys
yeah.
are interested.
The book.
Yeah,
Get the book.
absolutely. And if you find me at one of the events, I will happily sign it for you.
There you
So,
go.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jonathan. Yeah, so we're just talking to everybody today, interviewing everybody. Looks like we have a good group up here. And we'll see if we get some more people. Okay. We'll see if we bring some more people up here. Everybody's probably having a good time just drinking and not having to do anything, right? I think I just shared this here on Stacker News right now. Yeah, so if you're on Stacker News, I just shared this one here. I think it's under this one here. Yeah, I just shared here. Oh, you do? Perfect. Let's do it. That was fast. Yeah, let's see if we can bring on our next guest. Hey, how's it going? Yo. What's your name?
I'm Scott.
Scott. Nice to meet you, Scott. What company are you working for, Scott?
I do not work for a company.
So you're just a Bitcoiner. What's your Twitter handle, Scott?
Scott 9000.
Scott 9000. I love it. All right, we're just gonna talk Bitcoin here. STOT 9000. See what we get. Boom! Right there. New follow.
Boom,
So tell us all about you, Scott. What brings you to Austin, and how is your summit?
Summit was fantastic, man. This is a good event. I think this is like my fourth one, but I absolutely love it. I'm deeply involved in the Bitcoin mining space, so this is my jam, to say the least. see on my, well, I guess on my hat, I work on the BitAxe project.
Nice.
You
We
heard
love
it?
the BitAxe
You like
project.
the BitAxe?
Yes,
All
we
right.
all do.
There we go. All right.
Yeah.
Got a friendly crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the instigator of the BitAxe. I started it, created the ones. It's a big project now. It's a big project. A lot of people are working on it, but it's a fully open source Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's
the first
amazing.
one ever, which is kind of insane because Bitcoin is fundamentally open source. Bitcoin mining is an important part of Bitcoin. We need to have at least some open source options.
So tell me, like, so were you the person that invented the whole spec and like where it was able to figure out? Because my understanding is very much on like not that high, deep. I mean, but like how did you go from knowing that you can just kind of pull a chip from there and then throw it on something as small as a BitAxe and then lottery mining? Like how did that? Yeah, tell me about how that works. Like, how did that come into
Well,
being?
Let's see. I'm a Bitcoiner. I've been a Bitcoiner for a long time, but I'm also a electronics engineer. So,
Okay.
Working with this stuff has been my bread and butter for a long time.
For your whole life, mostly?
Yeah, my whole professional career for certain. And it was always like, I could do this. I could make one of these. I know, like, technically how they work. And so at some point I was like, I should just give it a shot. Let's see if we can do it. Like I've done with other non-Bitcoin related electronics projects before, I went on and I Googled it and it was like, how do you do this? And it was like, wah, 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 0 results. No one's doing it. It's all like, secrets, proprietary
What year
stuff.
was this, Scott?
I think I first started getting into it, I don't know, maybe 2018.
2018, okay.
Something like that. I had a day job, lots of stuff going on, and just kind of farting around with it initially, but kept banging on it, kept trying to figure it out. I had, back in like 2011, 2012, I had done a little bit of Bitcoin mining with FPGAs, which were sort of the precursor to ASICs. And that was cool. That was already open. People were showing how they did it. And so I just took some stuff I learned online and built it. And then, fast forward a few years to ASICs, I kind of wanted to do the same thing. And so I quickly realized that I was on my own and was going to have to reverse engineer how these things worked. The machines that are out there, like on a low level, how do they work? Like, how do you interface with these chips? The chips themselves, those are ASICs. And just start digging in because they're a total black box. And lots of reverse engineering, just trying things, spitting bytes at it, see what comes back. Learning a lot about Bitcoin mining, a lot more about Bitcoin mining in the process.
Did you have that one night where you're like, Eureka, I figured it out? Kind of like the Iron Man thing where he like figures out time travel. He's like, I got it.
Yes.
Did you have one of those nights?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that experience?
Yes. So it was literally in the middle of the night, right? I had a day job. So this is definitely a midnight hour kind of thing. And I had been banging on it for a while. I'd actually made a couple PCBs. I had, harvested some chips, some ASIC chips out of different miners. I'm soldering them on there. It wasn't working at all. Like, I was getting nothing. I was like, I'd spent some money on it at this point, like trying to figure out how to do it. And at some point I realized that I had the pin pitch wrong. So these chips, they have a bunch of pins underneath, and that's how you interface them with the circuit board. Mm-hmm. And there's no spec, so I'm carefully measuring them. And I had measured 0.48 millimeter spacing between the pins.
Okay.
And I thought, that's ridiculous, 0.48. I must be wrong. I must be off, because this is like 0.5 millimeter, right? So it's pretty small. I was like, when I was doing this, I was like, 0.48, that can't be right. It's probably 0.5. Like, it's a nice round number, right? It's gotta be. And there's lots of other chips that have 0.5 millimeter pin spacing. So I had been rolling this whole time with 0.5 millimeter spacing. And at some point I realized, dude, it's actually 0.48 millimeter spacing. And the thing was not working at all. And so I oh my gosh, ordered some new boards. They came, I built them up with 0.48 millimeter spacing, and it was like, the world opened up. I'm like, wow. I'm talking to this thing. Like, let's go. It's on. And
that's when everything changed.
That's when everything changed. And so now I'm like, I'm not mining, right? This isn't a miner, but for the first time, I'm sending commands to the chip and getting responses.
Oh, wow.
And so now I can go online and be like, look at this. I've made some progress. We're very early days, but I've made some progress. I'm talking to the chip, and it was really cool. Like other folks just started showing up and were like, oh, I've always wanted to do this. Like I'm an expert at mechanical engineering or thermal engineering
Right.
or, firmware device development. And they just started showing up. We were all working together. And that's when things started coming together.
That's fantastic. Yeah. You always hear about like the electricity stuff when they first invented electricity. They saw it on for like 30 minutes. Then it was an hour, and then it was like 24 hours.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Right. And then
just
like their
that.
mind just like starts
like
blow.
that.
Yeah.
Just exploding. And we had a cool group of really smart dudes.
Yeah.
We're all like, on the internet talking about this, staying up late, like boom, boom, boom. Like I figured this out. And of course, we're all like, totally down to share what we're learning, which I think was not really the mindset of people in Bitcoin mining previous to this. And so
this was like the Jiha Woon days, like those days, or what?
Well, I mean, it was, just after the block size wars, right? So
it was still fresh off of that.
Yeah. But, it's becoming clear that Bitcoin mining hardware is big business. And so a lot of big companies are starting to get into this. We're long past the Butterfly Labs, like all that fiasco with them selling their miners, but people still remembered that. But yeah, we essentially started a community around this called the Open Source Miners United, which is just a Discord chat. And people just started showing up. Like we're like, oh my gosh, we got 100 members in here. Oh my gosh, we got 1,000 people in here. And now it's up, we got like 15,000 people in there. So it's so popular.
So where do you think, so I have a BitX. I know a lot of people that have BitXs. Like,
awesome.
Where do you see all this going? Like, obviously I'm doing it because I feel like it's my responsibility to run a BitX, just like to run a node, that sort of thing. I feel like it's part of like the toolkit to be a Bitcoiner, that sort of thing. Like, where do you see a lot of this going? Where do you see it kind of heading? Like the future of BitX, it could possibly be. I already feel like it's a big thing already right now.
I mean, I think it's in a lot of ways, it's like this Trojan horse to get people into Bitcoin mining on a more fundamental level, right? Like the BitX is practical. It's cheap enough where you can just buy it and run it in your house. And maybe that's where it stops. But I think a lot of people, they're like, oh, wait, this is kind of cool. Like I'll get another BitX, or I'll get a bigger miner, or like maybe I'll dig into how it works, right? Like from the software point of view, like from the hardware point of view, like modding the heat sinks, new ones with more chips. There's a lot of follow-on projects to the BitX, like the Nerd QX and stuff, more chips, bigger screen. So, I see this as getting new miner developers into the scene. And if OSMU is any testament to that, it's working really well. That's one facet. But basically, open source pilling people is into this. Like, I really believe that Bitcoin mining needs to have open source fundamentals, right? Just like Bitcoin does. And the hardware and the firmware that drives this, it deserves to be open source, both for freedom, side of things, but also just because this increases the development so fast, right? When you can get, a dude just screwing around in the middle of the night on this, and he makes something and publishes it, and then someone else sees that and publishes, right? This is where progress on like the capability of miners and the functionality of miners just goes exponential, because everyone's building on it. And, we have this centralization problem in Bitcoin mining hardware because there's only a couple manufacturers, and, you kind of have to have an industrial setup to get involved in it. My colleague, Tyler, who's the founder of the heat punk movement, his whole idea is like, look, Bitcoin miners are perfect hash rate heaters. I think one of the things that's holding back that whole movement is that no one really is making hash rate heaters, right?
What are those, Scott? I don't think I've ever seen one of those before. Do you have one on your Twitter here that we can show?
Well, no, not really. I mean, they don't, like, there's a lot of people who have hacked them, but there's very few, if any, commercial products that you can just go and buy. And I think that's because the hardware ecosystem is so locked down, right? We have only a couple of players in the, major players. They only make the S19s that everyone knows. And so that's kind of my pitch to the people wanting to do hash rate heating here is that, like, look, we need to make miners specifically for space heaters, water heaters, pool heaters, etc. And to do that, we need to make our own custom miners, our own boards.
Really?
Actually, what you got on the screen
So
there.
is this kind of the first start of that, where you're using AI to put together like a board, basically?
Yeah. That was an experiment to have AI put together a board. This picture is a fail. That black part is supposed to fit on the footprint below it. So this was a fail. But AI put it together. This project here, StatHat, is just a little thing that allows you to connect like that normal thermostat on your wall in your house to a Bitcoin miner.
Wow, really?
Right? So it's like,
Oh,
you're like, oh man, it's cold in here. You go over to the wall, you like crank that thing up. What that needs to do is tell your Bitcoin miner, start going and heat up this house.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, this was just a little like proof of concept board, and I wanted to try out AI design on it.
Do you think that's going to go? You think there'll be more of these? Do you anticipate there'll be more of these types of attempts with other things in the home that you'll be looking at to do, as far as like using AI and experimenting on this
100%.
stuff?
I mean, it's already changed the game, and it's accelerating things at a crazy rate. It's better at firmware and software, but hardware will get there for sure. I mean, this stuff's going really fast.
Yeah. And so how do you see that kind of fitting into all the different areas, as far as like mining, AI, all the designs on the boards? Like, how do you see that kind of coalescing at some point, or does it all kind of stay separate? Like, how do you see that playing out?
Like, as far as like using AI to develop this stuff?
Yeah, just from your view on all this stuff.
I mean, acceleration to the max, right? Like, we're already seeing with AI that, non-developers who have some software goal just bang it out with AI, right? And the same thing will happen with hardware. So that you can, you have some goal. It's AI is tell you, like, this is solved with a combination of hardware and software and firmware, and now you can just get it done, right? You don't need to have a team of engineers, full-time engineers. You can, that's a cool picture of us hacking on some miners late night. This is part of the 256 Foundation, which I'm a board member of. But yeah, 256 Foundation is really cool. It's a nonprofit that was started by Rod Rudy out of Bitcoin Park, who also organized the Energy and Mining Summit. But yeah, it's a nonprofit, and it's dedicated to supporting open source Bitcoin mining development. And so what you see on the table there was the first versions of 4 projects that the foundation fit developers to work on. And yeah, that's really cool.
Is that a steak?
That's a steak. So that is a sous vide cooker.
Nice.
Utilizing heat from a Bitcoin miner. But this is
holding temperature.
And holding temperature. Yeah, we ate that. We finished it on the grill, but yeah, we ate that.
That's amazing.
It was delicious.
That's amazing.
And so the cool thing there is that demonstration of the whole stack of 56 Foundation. So we funded projects to make a open source mining hash board. That's with the board on the left there. An open source control board. That's the one on the right, as well as firmware and a pool. So this is running a fully open source stack that we developed at the 256 Foundation to cook a steak, which is amazing. It's a cool but trivial example. But what we're trying to show here is that, like, you can use these things to build products, to build sort of non-standard applications of mining. And it's pretty fun.
That's fun, dude.
Yeah.
That's a ton of fun.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah. That's hilarious. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Scott, for coming on and talking about everything. Did you have a good week in Austin?
I did. It's been great here. It's a great town.
Yeah, it's a good town. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Is there anything else we should bring up before we get to our next guest?
Yeah, I mean, my main thing that I'm hyping these days is the 256 Foundation. We are constantly seeking funding. We're a 100% pass-through organization, so everything that we raise goes to open source Bitcoin mining development. I think we already have added a lot of value to the ecosystem, but that's our mission, is to continue to add value, decentralized, core to Bitcoin mining, which is a very important part of Bitcoin. We obviously fully love AI tools, and putting AI tools to use in developing Bitcoin mining stuff in an open source way.
I'd love to see it. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate
you very
that.
much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on. That was awesome. Yeah, so we're talking to everybody here at the after party. Things are I've already looked at this site. It has all the hardware that's available. These design files are all free, as you can see right here. And then from there, it pretty much just kind of shows you, as far as I can tell, just how to put it all together. I mean, this is something that you could even pull into your favorite agent, and it could probably walk you through all this. Depending on your skill set, right? If you tell the agent, "Hey, I am this age, I'm this kind of person, I want to do this. I have these pictures," and show them this, and they'll help put together a BitX Gamma. One of the cool things I think you'll see more and more of, especially, is just more workshops about stuff like this. I think is definitely beneficial to getting mining out there to just regular people like yourself or me, being able to use this gear and take advantage of making some sats, right? Like, that's what it's all about. We'll see if we can get somebody else here. We don't know who we're going to have next, but yeah, we're live, we're doing it. It's a thing. Oh, here, let me see. Let me share this tab instead here. See if we have, oh, there's Gabriel. All right, no, he doesn't hear me. Share this tab instead. So I did share this on stacker.news. We'll see if it's showing up here. I don't think it is. No, it's not. Yo, what's up, Ben? You want to come on the show?
Actually, Chris is bringing someone in.
Okay, cool. Can you grab me a couple of Dos Equis? Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. So we have 2 guests coming in. Looks like Christopher from OpenAgents will be here in a second. We'll have other people, I'm sure, join. But yeah, really good party. A lot of people. Still sunny. But yeah, I'd be curious to see if we have anybody in chat. Let me check here. No one in chat. If you have any questions, drop them on screen. Here comes Ben. Oh, thank you, sir. How's the bar going out there? Yeah. You got time to chat real quick and hold it down? Okay, he's going to come back. So we're going to talk with Ben. He's of OpenAgents. That way we can kind of get a rundown on everything that's happening. Ben, thank you for saving me and coming to talk about all the stuff that we have going on here at OpenAgents. But is it this one? Let me see if I got the GitHub right.
We're car in here all alone.
No, I mean we'll get it done.
No,
let me see if I can find it.
People that are too interesting to stop talking to, but they need to come in here and talk to you. So,
are we allowed to show this yet, or?
What's that?
Or we can't show this yet, right?
I don't know.
We're showing it. I won't scroll down, but we don't have to talk about that yet. Maybe we'll let Christopher talk about that. But
okay.
Yeah,
is that new?
Yeah.
Is that on the website now?
No, it's not. It's not.
Okay. Yeah. No, somebody tried to bring up the website earlier and it said coming soon or something like that.
Yeah, and that's where I want to show people like that. Like if you go to openagents.com right now, it says coming soon. But in reality, this is the stuff that's happening on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I don't think we can share all of this yet.
Yeah.
Because investors and stuff.
But
Ben, tell us about everything that's going on with you.
Let's see. We finished the conference here. What is it? Energy and Mining Summit.
Mm-hmm.
Has been amazing because I love learning new things. And there's an entire world of oil and gas and energy and Bitcoin mining that, and I mean, I've mined Bitcoin. I know a fair amount about it, but there's stuff that I just wasn't even close to knowing. Like, wasn't even in the same ballpark. I thought I knew. I didn't know a lot about energy in the ocean. I know a decent amount about other forms of energy, but this whole oil and gas industry in Texas, and it's just,
yeah. Like I've come to realize in Bitcoin, like a long time ago, everybody has their niche that they're really into, and the best. I mean, there's very few people that understand all the other niches. But yeah, I feel like the mining one, it just is a whole nother rabbit hole on itself.
yeah. One thing that I found really interesting about this tie-in with Bitcoin and energy, which Elon Musk has talked about a number of times, about having this like new currency for energy, which is really Bitcoin. I don't know if he doesn't understand that, but somebody said Bitcoin miners are the apex predators in the energy space. If there is a speck of energy over here, they will go and connect miners to it.
That's
like
true.
any form of energy out there, like they are at the top of making sure they get that energy. And
yeah, we were talking to a couple of them earlier on the broadcast. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and so like, I don't know, like that's the only real way to price energy is if you tie it to Bitcoin. Otherwise, like USD doesn't really have any backing. It's just kind of all over the place, and you're trying to get the market to figure out what this is worth. But mining with Bitcoin has a very set price of what that energy is worth every time. So I don't know. I have a lot of takeaways, I guess, but that was
Tell me more. Tell me more, Kick. We're here to learn more. Yeah, for sure. Tell me.
I guess a lot of it. So like regarding us with OpenAgents.
This is Ben's Twitter if you guys want to follow him.
Yeah. I was posting a bunch about energy. I guess one thing on that, as far as OTEC and ocean-based energy and just energy in general, like as awesome as things are in Texas for energy and mining and all that, like it is still really difficult to bring like any substantial number of gigawatts online. No matter how amazing it is, eco-friendly, off-grid, anything else, it's still really difficult. It's way, 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 way better than a lot of places, even in America. They've done incredible stuff here, but if you want to bring on like what we really need, like a terawatt of energy, is going to be really difficult. But we can do that out in the oceans. Pretty super environmentally friendly.
Yeah, so tell us of the ocean stuff, because we were talking about it the other day. But yeah, tell the people that are watching now, like how hard is that? How feasible is that?
Yeah. I mean, it's been around for decades at various test scales, including from barges out in the ocean. The real operating plan land, which is a really awful way to do OTEC, because your piping is really expensive and you got to go down with the slope, and it's miles down that way. So nobody can really do it to land. But if we go out in the water and we use that energy at the source, and we need to cool things because we're pumping up cold water, then all of a sudden it's insanely cost effective. So the technology is already really there. That's not really that difficult. The hard part, I think, is just getting investors on board with it. Really, I mean, I don't know. There isn't really. We build massive stuff on the water all the time. We built these deep water pipes. We use it in the oil industry, in the North Sea, the most horrible environments on Earth. Like, we've done this stuff for a really, really long time at this point. I think it's just getting people over some kind of mental hurdle, maybe, of putting $20 billion worth of computer stuff out in the ocean.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's the biggest thing. Is just it's just the getting the capital, and then finding the right team that can execute on it, right? Yeah, for sure.
The one, I mean, it's the downside of any energy, though. No energy is really that efficient unless you're at some kind of scale. Like, you need to be at kind of the megawatts at least, and it really gets efficient in the gigawatt scale. So it's kind of if somebody gave me $1 million to build OTech, I'd be like, can't really do much with that. Like,
Yeah.
maybe 50 million, we can get started. But it's like giving someone $1 million to do a nuclear prototype. It's like,
You really can't do much with $1 million these days, to be honest.
Yeah, that's not really gonna help too much. So
It's just true. Yeah. It really takes. I don't know. I feel like these days you definitely need a little bit more capital to get any sort of return on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the days of 2010 and 2020s are long gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll see. We're getting a new Fed chair, as I found out in this broadcast.
Oh yeah.
We'll see if that changes anything.
Oh yeah. I did see that on the Twitter's X's. I mean,
so you just came to Austin this week. How's your week been? Just otherwise, like, have you been be able to adjust to the weather? We rain like cats and dogs this week.
Yeah. I mean, I'm from Tampa Bay area. It's actually really similar so far. I think you guys are going to get a lot hotter and drier probably in sometime. When's it get really hot?
Like now.
Oh, okay.
Like around this time, it gets really hot.
Okay.
Yep.
So the rain weird at this time?
The rain is normal, but it was all of a sudden weird. But this feels about right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's not too bad then. It's nice. I walk over the bridge, stay in a place just like a mile south, so I do a lot of walking around, which is nice.
Nice. Oh yeah, you like to walk. I forgot.
Yeah, I like to walk. But yeah, I feel that breeze off the river there, and it's kind of like the breeze off Tampa Bay.
Oh man, Tampa Bay is beautiful.
So as long as there's a bit of a breeze, then it feels nice, no matter how hot it is. Like I don't really mind the heat. I'm actually from Northern Ohio, and I've long since lost my ability to survive, I guess, in cold. I have no appreciation at all for it. But yeah, it's been awesome. It's been total mayhem with this, like 2 days of this conference event and all the brainstorming and stuff going on here with OpenAgents is a fun.
It's exciting. Yeah, it's exciting. I think that's the day-to-day working at an AI startup it's just exciting.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to explain it. It's like unlike anything I've ever seen. Like, I feel like Bitcoin moved pretty fast, but with the AI stuff, it's like week to week, something changes and you have to adjust. You have to be willing to move with it.
Yeah. It's just so, I mean, the applications for it are endless, and the ways people are implementing it are, I don't know, like, I just feel like it's constant stream. I mean, my X feed is a constant stream of people doing crazy, awesome things with AI that I never thought of. So
yeah. So tell us about like some of the OpenAgents or the stuff that you can share. Tell us about the stuff that you're working on with Christopher.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it really is the go-to-market for this. If we can, and especially through this event, like we can definitely bring on a substantial amount of AI compute, especially agentic, which means instead of needing an immediate response as quickly as possible from a massive data center with the fastest bandwidth possible, then it's something that can be tasked out. I need a big project done and do it by tomorrow or do it by the end of the week or whatever. In that kind of scenario, there's a huge amount, again, as we're finding with the Bitcoin mining community that has sort of sniffed out these pockets of energy all over the place. There's a ton of really inexpensive ways to run these AI agents. And so we could bring online megawatts and megawatts and megawatts worth of AI agents, new AI agents that are incredibly cheap to operate. And so then you have the chicken or the egg, like how do you bring on that much demand to meet that supply? Or if you bring the demand first, how quickly can you bring in the supply, and how do you scale those together? So that's really a lot of it. I think businesses especially, it's not very efficient to sit there and copy paste some stuff into ChatGPT and then sit there for 10 minutes and wait for it to give you a response. It's a lot more efficient to run through all the things that you need to give it like on a Monday morning, and this is due by end of the day, this is due by tomorrow morning, this is due by Wednesday, that's due by Friday, check my calendar, respond to this email, do all these different things. That is a way, way more efficient way to run a business than sitting there and waiting for the AI to do a thing.
Yeah, like one of the coolest things that we saw last week, we were all just in here and we were just talking to the autopilot, and dude, it was crazy good. I told Christopher, I was like, dude, this is the future, man. Like, and I wasn't bullshitting him. I was like, no, dude, what we're creating here is the future. That's insane.
Yep.
Like how incredibly fast and smart it was. And it was just a conversation. It was like we were talking to a fifth person in the team.
Mm-hmm.
It was wild. And I was like, oh, this would be great to have this and then be able to have this. And he was like, yeah, we're working on that. We're working. I was like, cool. Because like I feel like it's just missing a couple more pieces, like you're talking about, that I think really is going to set it apart. And one of the things that I thought about was like, why hasn't anybody made this yet? But it kind of just goes back to the whole OpenClaw thing, right? There's just something that you don't know that you don't know people need until you have it, and then you're like, how did I live without it?
Yep.
And I felt like the OpenClaw thing was kind of like that. Obviously, we moved past it, but it was that thing that everybody was like, oh no, we need something like that. Can you talk a little bit about how that? Yeah, about those things, Ben, and how that works with kind of what we're doing with Autopilot OpenAgents.
Yeah, I mean, I think, this is kind of a general thing about AI, that I think AI is amazing and does amazing things for us, but it doesn't really have maybe a creative spark to be able to recognize that it should build a new thing for us. Like it should, I don't know if it's the way humans operate or what it is, but it seems like there's a missing piece, or maybe a million missing pieces, and the AI can't really identify it. It's really up to us as these crazy brains that connect all these weird dots in weird ways, in ways that AI can't do it, to come up with these ideas of how the future will look and how people really will interact. I mean, I think a lot of it is like we're talking right now is not the way that I prompt AI at all, not even close. And so we're really like, and we have a whole prompt engineering. It's an entire career or an entire field. So I think looking more at how do humans interact and how do they operate on a day-to-day basis, and what is our bandwidth for things, and how can we, like, obviously we can't compete with a computer or an AI on like a math problem or something like that. But we can on creativity, and how do we combine that creativity with the capabilities of AI, I think is really the answer. I don't think it's AI replacing humans ever, except for, again, the non-creative side of it. And there's creativity in everything. The most boring accounting kind of situation requires a ton of creativity, or it should. So I think that opens it up. I think just trying to think about this really broadly, AI should replace a lot of the main mundane stuff, and it should free up our minds to not have to go through this boring, mundane, repetitive kind of garbage, and be able to really have opportunity to just think and do the stuff that our crazy brains do, of coming up with these creative new ideas.
Yeah, it should really just enhance your life and allow you to almost like kind of just be like a orchestra, not orchestrator, but just like a symphony director or something.
Yeah.
And it just kind of just plays, right?
Yeah. No, I think that's a good way to look at it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you talk to some interesting people here.
Yeah, we had some miners on from West Texas. I believe his name was Mason, and we had another guy named Sterling. We had some guys from Giga Energy, I believe it's called. And we just had on the BitX guy, Scott, who's amazing, and Brandon came on earlier. We got a whole rundown on the Fed. So I feel like we've had like a pretty good mixture of people. Yeah. What have any interesting talks that you've seen over the past couple of days? Anybody that
Well, yeah, we have someone, Margot, that I'm hoping will be in here in a minute, maybe with Chris, but a lot of like, how do you take in this huge amount of energy data and combine that with compute in an intelligent way that is good for the grid, good for people that have certain demands, like for air conditioning and things at certain times of the day, with emissions and environment. How do you kind of orchestrate all of that in a really interesting way? And then for us in particular with decentralized AI, how do we take all of that data and then orchestrate those AIs out to the most efficient regions and cities and places, based on where the cheapest energy is and what's the best locally, for the environment or for whatever the case may be. There's a lot of data out there. So I'm hoping maybe her and Chris, or just her, will come in here in a minute, because she's doing really cool stuff.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to talk to her about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about the latest on autopilot? Can we talk about this yet? Is this can't share this yet, right?
No, I don't know. What are we allowed to talk about? So much cool stuff.
Can we
we're
scroll down, or
on
should we?
there.
Shouldn't scroll down, right? A lot of it could. Yeah, I won't do that.
Okay.
But I will say though, it's coming. A lot of people have been asking me just around town, and then they're like, "Hey, what's going on with?" I'm like, "No, they're behind the scenes working on this like day and night." Because I see you post like at all sorts of times. I'm like, it's like, is Ben sleeping? Yeah, you're always just like dropping stuff in Slack, and I'm like, Ben, go to sleep, man.
I'll just say, like, the just looking at this screen that we have up here that nobody else can see, I think. But
well, no, they can see it. But,
they can see
they can see this, but like,
okay.
But but it doesn't show too much. I think.
Yeah. Well, the concept of, I think, not only AI agents, but even software, and I'm thinking about this for businesses in particular, but it applies personally, individually as well, is that historically, and even still, we build like some kind of software and it's SaaS, and we try to meet the needs of the most people, and people buy it and they use 10% of it or 20% of it, and they try to integrate it with their other SaaS software or whatever. Like, AI and software work together. AI can build tools that make it more efficient. They should work hand in hand, and both of them should grow together with your business, especially. There shouldn't be like kind of I guess software is less static than it's been. It should be in this like constant state of evolution, because your AI should constantly be trying to make things more efficient and more functional for you. So if you're constantly telling the AI to do this thing over and over again, and it should be proactive enough even to say, oh, how about I build a tool for you? How about I build a dashboard? Because you keep asking for this information. I can just build this thing for you so you can pop it up and see it graphically. Mm-hmm. And we do really well with that as humans, graphically visualizing lots of information very quickly. So that's kind of where we're going with this. I think the proactive component of it is really important. And I think that kind of evolving, growing, always in movement, kind of software / agent thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how Chris has some of this described on here, because it's hard to describe. It's a new paradigm really for, I don't know, like we talk about like a business operating system or even a life operating system, trying to think of what kind of terms do we use to really describe this? Because it's entirely different from trying to plug in AI into that.
I think it's, we had whiteboarded it last week. It feels more like a business OS in a lot of ways. I don't know if that's the right term.
Yeah.
But it kind of feels like a back office operations and even front of office, depending on what you want it to do. It adds another team member to your, it's kind of like a HAL from 2001 Space Odyssey. It's kind of like one of those types of computers where you need him. He's always on and he's ready for you, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about Jarvis a lot. I think that's a fun example of it. But
okay,
what's that? Is she coming in? No, she ain't coming. Yeah, I'm kind of killing time, but
yeah.
All right, cool. I think we got someone cool coming in next. So
we do. Okay.
Yeah. I was trying to. There's a couple people to get in here still.
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna go scout for you here in a minute, I think.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing was just wanting to get with you on all this stuff, and we'll talk more about it here.
Yeah. There we go. All right, I'm out.
Thanks, Ben.
Peace.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Margo.
Margo, nice to meet you. Car.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, so tell us all about you, what you got building, and
Yeah, so I'm Margo. I'm a researcher. I finished my PhD at Georgia Tech in civil engineering. I was researching Bitcoin mining. And I'm also now looking for work in the industry, but I'm also a fellow at the Bitcoin Policy Institute.
Oh, okay. Let's
So-
pull that up.
Yeah,
Bitcoin
so
Policy Institute.
I've done a number of policy reports on Bitcoin, and also the intersection of Bitcoin and AI as well. So my research focused quite a bit on Bitcoin's load flexibility, and I also modeled out the Bitcoin network. And now I've been developing a dashboard to help with personalizing strategy for Bitcoin mining facilities. So I can, yeah, that's me up there. It's
Oh, there you go.
my least favorite photo, but yeah, that's me.
Yeah. So you said which one were you? This one right here, the how Bitcoin mining.
That's my most recent report. Yeah, it's been I have a new one coming out next week that's based off of my research, but it's targeting policymakers in particular. If you can click, there's a link that gives you the PDF, which looks a lot nicer than this, but and it has some nice graphics. I think in that where it says in this report, if you click there, it might be able to bring up the PDF.
This out of the way. All right. So you said it's over here in this report. Yep.
Yeah, you see. Yeah, there you go. So basically, it was originally called the locust and the dung beetle, but our co-founders decided to change it to this so that it would be more attractive to the policymakers. But really, what it was so there's a study in there that does look at the emissions of Bitcoin mining, but it was also very much a look at how AI and Bitcoin mining are different. And this came out again in 2024. This was really at the start when Bitcoin miners were starting to talk about transitioning to AI or bringing in HPC compute into the picture. So this was kind of an early look at what was going to happen and just really clarifying the differences between the two types of loads. So that was there. And then there's some interesting comparisons. Like if you look at, so here's kind of the big takeaway from the study that we did was like, these are the number of emissions that were avoided because of how flexible these Bitcoin miners are. So you can actually avoid quite a bit of emissions, which is a really great thing for the grid. And it's something that basically any load that can reduce its power can do. But Bitcoin miners are really unique in the sense because they can power on and off within seconds. And most data centers cannot do this, or like nearly no other data center can do this. And there's also a look at how efficiency has changed over time. I think in the next page, there's some nice plots. Okay, a little bit later in there's some plots that show like how efficiency for data centers had
Whoa.
how efficiency in data centers has slowed down. And so that's kind of a challenge for the data center industry in general. And this is just an overview of what Bitcoin mining is. So this is great for policymakers who really are uninitiated into what Bitcoin mining is, what it's capable of doing. So he really tried to give a simple overview of what that is. And this is just comparing the differences between AI and Bitcoin mining in a table. So Bitcoin miners are generally location agnostic. Most AI compute is not. They generally need to be near cities because, like with like inference, like answer questions like ChatGPT, for example, needs to be nearby. So you can't have a lot of latency. You can't have a huge wait time between when you ask the question and when you get the answer. Whereas for Bitcoin mining, you can put it anywhere. You can put it in the middle of nowhere in Africa. So you running on Starlink, and that's it. So so it's locational agnostic, it's time agnostic, it's operationally flexible. You can run a pod with just like 2 machines, or you can run a hyperscaler with thousands of machines. It's really up to what you're trying to achieve. For example, like in places like Kenya, like Gridless, for example, they're running these smaller modular facilities on these microgrids where they're basically the buyer of first and last resort for these communities where the government's grid is not able to reach them. But if you can build these hydropower microgrids and you can support them with Bitcoin mining, now you have an opportunity to bring electricity to these energy impoverished regions in a way that the government could not do. So this is just looking at how efficiency dropped. So there were efficiency improvements for data centers for quite a while until after 2020. And that efficiency, that power efficiency started to slow down. And part of that was because compute was starting to come on much faster than the efficiency improvements in the hardware, in storage, right? That it couldn't keep up with the trends. So that's why you see this stagnation in the early 2020s. And that is a big concern for energy researchers for data centers. And in general, like when you're trying to like the goal for data centers is to really be as efficient as possible. And so these are concerns in terms of like, how are you going to bring on all that additional load to meet these new data centers if they're not using that energy as efficiency as they were before? And this is looking at the efficiency trends for Bitcoin mining machines. So I fit a curve here. Over time, you can see going back to 2016. So these are like much older ASICs coming out into the 2024 and 2026. And you can just see how there's been this downward trend, this continual improvement in ASICs over time, which is very good. But at the same time, you can see that the trends are slowing a bit as you go out into the future because the improvements in the chips, the literal like silicon wafers of these chips over time has slowed. And so it's catching up, like Bitcoin mining efficiency is catching up with the general trends of computing in general, like Moore's law, that sort of thing. Like Bitcoin mining is not immune to Moore's law. It's just, it took some time to get there. So that's really just what that's showing.
Yeah, we just had Scott on here talking about that very same thing.
Oh, cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, and this is just the results of the study. So this was a really early version of what became my PhD dissertation. And so this was when I had only data from 8 facilities, and it was just a simple analysis of their uptimes and their load flexibility and looking at their decarbonization potential. So yeah, this just goes through the analysis, and there's some figures that just show comparatively how different facilities performed differently. Like some of them were reducing their power a lot more than others, and so it raised a lot of questions about why were some facilities really good at being flexible and others not so much. This is through the Bitcoin Policy Institute. It was a study that I co-wrote with Troy Cross in 2024. It's about, I forgot what it's titled, but it's like Bitcoin reduces carbon emissions, something like that. And this is energy protection. So this was a really simple back of the envelope estimation that I did for the report, and just trying to give the reader a sense of where AI energy consumption was going and where Bitcoin mining energy consumption was going and how they compared in general. And so I did a very simple estimation of that energy consumption going out to 2027. And I think it's held okay so far in terms of the estimations. And this is just looking at the US specifically.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. It just kind of reminds me of like when we as Bitcoiners look at dollars and how we have all these empty buildings that are banks and they facilitate dollars and everything's digital. And it kind of reminds me of a similar thing here in a lot of ways.
Yeah. So I think like the most important takeaway here is like at this time, we were coming out of this phase where there was a ton of pressure on Bitcoin miners and a lot of negative press saying that Bitcoin miners were going to use all the world's energy. They're burning the planet. They're melting. They're like evaporating lakes. And what this helped do is contextualize that energy use against the data centers in general and AI in general. And it really showed that Bitcoin mining is actually constrained in its energy use compared to the rest of the industry. And so that that focus on Bitcoin mining, that negative focus, was really unfair, because actually comparatively, it wasn't consuming as much energy, and the trends highlighted that it wasn't going to overcome data centers in general. And I think this has proved true, because all the estimates now about data center energy use are heavily focused on the drive to bring on more compute for AI specifically. And we're talking about gigawatts, like 8 gigawatt facilities, or, I yesterday I heard like 100 gigawatts by 2030 at one facility. I mean, that's something that is unimaginable for Bitcoin mining, simply because of how the economic constraints of Bitcoin mining work. So it really dwarfs the potential of Bitcoin mining. But on the other hand, it shows that as a money, it's actually much more sustainable.
Right. And what are you working on next, Marga?
So I've been building a dashboard. I don't have it live right now, but I've been trying to find a way to personalize some of my research for facilities to help them improve their operations, their siting, the strategy of how they come about of building a Bitcoin mining facility. So taking in electricity price data, the efficiency of that facility, and stress testing it under different environments and different market conditions, and to hopefully give facility operators some insight on how to best develop their Bitcoin mining facilities. And then I'm also just kind of taking a break, and maybe I'll be working on some more research in the future. I'm actually collaborating with a French institute, on a study on using nuclear with Bitcoin mining, because their nuclear power is curtailed quite a bit, and some of it is based off of the electricity economics, and so there's potential there to use Bitcoin mining. So I'm going to be helping out, putting a study together of that to see really how the economics pencil out.
Yeah, is that kind of I don't know if you've looked into it that much yet. Is it feasible for something like that?
It seems to be like there is potential. I haven't yet started working on the study, but the person who approached me to do it, they've done some work on it already, and it sounds like there's potential there. So it'll be interesting to see how it all pencils out, like compared to batteries and other scenarios.
Yeah, well, we look forward to reading all about it, and hopefully we'll see some of that writing later on.
Yeah, definitely.
How did you enjoy the conference? Anything stick out?
Oh, I thought the conference was great. So I really stopped attending conferences for about a year so that I could finish my PhD. So this is actually my first mining conference in at least a year. But it was really great. I gave a keynote talk about my research and got a lot of really great feedback. And I just really enjoyed seeing some people I hadn't seen in a while, and just getting up to speed with where the industry is today. I was very interested.
Is your first time in Austin, or have you been to Austin before?
No, I've been here a few times, and all for Bitcoin reasons. I've never been to Austin for a non-Bitcoin reason.
Yeah, it's definitely a Bitcoin hub, and hopefully here soon an AI hub. It feels like that in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah, I think so. I believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about all your work. Is there anything where people can reach out to you? Do you have a Twitter?
I'm on Twitter. I'm Jyn Urso, JYN_URSO. I'm on there. And that's where I got my start.
JYN
JYN_URSO. So it's based off of the character from Rogue One.
Oh yeah, I love that movie. That's a good movie.
Yeah, that's me. I used to be anonymous. And then,
oh really?
Yeah, and
what made you change from being anonymous?
When I became a fellow at the Bitcoin Policy Institute, they asked me if I would de-anonymize myself.
Oh really? Wow.
Yeah, to help with the credibility of the institute. So I agreed to do it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So now, now I was a closeted Bitcoiner for a very long time.
Were you ashamed?
No, I wasn't ashamed, but at the time it was so unpopular. It was like extremely toxic, especially in academia. So
how did you deal with all that? Like, how did you deal with all that kind of
Well,
day-to-day?
I basically switched labs and got my own funding because
That's one way to
my
deal with
old
it, yeah.
advisor was really opposed to it, didn't understand it. But once I had my own funding and a new advisor, it was much easier. Yeah. So I highly suggest bring your own money if you can. If you can find a way to do it, that's the best way. Yeah, that's
There you go. Support her work. You have a geyser fund.
yeah, my node is not connected to it anymore, but yeah, you can reach me through through
Office
Twitter or
hours.
like this is really old. I need to update this. This is like
Oh,
several
sorry.
years old.
I clicked on it. I was like, oh, let me just click on this.
Yeah, no, it's several years
DM
old.
her on Twitter. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably one way to add her. Or find those other ways. Thank you so much for coming over and talking to us.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a
Appreciate it.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Take care.
Christopher David. How was your day, sir? Here, let me go to full screen here. Let me go here to this one. Close this. We'll pull up Christopher David here.
Car,
All right, what's going on?
can you fucking pinch me? Just pinch me. Pinch me right
Right
now.
here?
Pinch me.
I'm like hard?
Yep.
I don't want to do it too hard.
Am I dreaming? Bro, we've got 50 of the best, not best. We got 50 fucking top elite Bitcoiners chilling in our office. We got the conversations are I can't describe them. So let me say a few things. OpenAgents is evolving into an entirely different company. It's the same company. We have the same ambitions. It's just like we're leveling up because the things that we thought that we might do someday are becoming things that we're like starting to do now. It's all just very good. Let me see what I want to share about it. So for our lovely people in the Discord who are amazing and patiently or impatiently waiting for Pylon V2 to begin the next training run. I've literally had my agents going all day on like getting that ready. So like tomorrow-ish, give us a second because this has been a whirlwind.
We have 90 people listening.
Couple of
That's
days.
awesome.
What's up? So Pylon V0.2. Let me say something about this first. So we're about to begin a decentralized training run, which we now know is going to be a fine-tuning training run for a model. We're fine-tuning Quen 3.6. Our Pylon inference and stuff had supported Quen 3.5. We had to like upgrade it to support 3.6. And we're building out the fine-tuning engine. It's working great kind of locally, and we'll have Pylon VO2 ready to go like in tomorrow-ish. So I know I keep saying tomorrow-ish. So like at some point tomorrow-ish will become tomorrow, and you'll have a download.
I mean, we're
going to send you real work and you get paid Bitcoin, but just it takes a fucking second to create.
We've been busy.
It also takes a minute to create this software that is literally on the AI frontier. Yeah. And guess what? It's a new frontier. It's a frontier that OpenAI and Anthropic have ignored. It's called, what can we do with consumer devices yours? What can we do to take compute budgets and pay you who've got gaming computer, you've got old rigs that you used for crypto mining. Like we're involving you in the AI revolution because you've got a device that can run compute, and no one's taken the time to like take an ML library and like tune it to use your computer's resources. They've said, oh, let's focus on NVIDIA's hardware. No, we're focusing on edge compute because, hey, there's a lot of it that no one's using, and it's very good for agentic workloads. But what we realized, we're calling that phase one. Phase one is stranded consumer compute. And you may have seen the graph we put out as part of our pitch deck and all this. We said, listen, OpenAI at the end of 2025 had 2 gigawatts of compute in their entire compute mix was 2 gigawatts. There's 20 gigawatts globally of what we call stranded consumer compute. This is the computers that every gamer has, any person with a desktop workstation around the world. That's 20 gigawatts. We said, hey, listen, OpenAI built a $800 billion company with 2 gigawatts. If we can take a percentage of that 20 gigawatts and do something meaningful with that compute and use it and bring it online and use it in products, the company that unlocks any percentage of that 20 gigawatts has a path to becoming the most valuable company in the world. So that's been keeping us busy, and we're doing that. And that's phase one. That's going to stay. We came to this conference and, happily hosted the after party because we're 3 floors up from where they held it. And hey, the Texas Energy and Mining Summit, a bunch of our buddies and extended networker in the Bitcoin mining sphere. Let's come here because I also have a suspicion that that idea of making use of stranded compute, bringing that online, that exact same thing is what plenty of companies and compute wildcatters and Bitcoin miners, particularly here in Texas, are building thriving, successful businesses, bringing compute online. And not even just compute, but like Bitcoin mining compute. So let me give you an example. There is a gas flare, a little thing in West Texas that shoots gas out of the earth. This happens all over the place. And if they're big enough, they'll attract someone to like cap it and reroute it into a pipeline system and make good use of it. If it's too small or too remote or both to do that, then there's no one has an incentive to like run pipes out there and like capture such a tiny amount of things. And so for a long time, there's been something called flared gas, and you just have to deal with, you know, we got this gas flaring up, and it looks bad because it's on fire, but it's actually like less bad for the environment if it's flared rather than just seeping out. But like you've got these gas flares that like no one has solved gas flares until Bitcoin miners came along and said, hey, we can actually like put a box on top of that and like turn that into energy and monetize it at the source. Right. And so Bitcoin mining is able to literally clean up the environment and also have these little micro businesses that are just converting flared gas. Now, there have been a whole bunch of Bitcoin miners, some of the larger ones, who've made pivots over the last few years to AI compute because the AI people are able to buy and bid more for compute. And so kind of what you've had structurally happen is that a lot of the companies that used to be Bitcoin miners, because they built big data centers, they're in like core infrastructure places, they've become they've diversified partially or entirely to AI data centers, and some of the Bitcoin mining operations are kind of being pushed out to the periphery. Now, what we've identified in listening to the talks here is there's a little bit of a misconception among a bunch of miners because they think that AI workloads necessarily need that type of like co-located compute of state-of-the-art NVIDIA devices.
They don't know about the AI stuff. I mean, they know about the
training, for answer inference, and you need everything to be like in one. I don't get one.
I am the best. Yes.
I do get one. Oh, thank you very much. You are the best. Was this yours and now I have it?
On this?
You want someone else to come in?
No, I think
you can join us, but I got a rant that I'm in the middle of.
I've got one more person. The guy doing the fine tuning and the.
Oh yeah. No, yes.
Can you come in?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
yeah, tell them we're going to clip all this and stuff. Yeah, all this is going to be clipped, by the way. We'll have these into different videos at the OpenAgents YouTube channel. We'll post them on Substack so that way everybody can learn about all these companies.
So long story short is you have AI workloads that there's been an assumption that AI workloads necessarily need to be like requiring these co-located state-of-the-art NVIDIA GPUs, and you have to do that in the center and not the periphery. Well, it turns out that there's a type of AI workload that doesn't need all that. It doesn't need NVIDIA state-of-the-art thing. It's called agentic inference. So there's an article, Car, can you Google Stratechery?
Yeah, I know Stratechery.
Inference shift.
I think I'm a subscriber there, actually.
He's got an article from a week ago called The Inference Shift. There you go.
Right there.
And if you scroll down, you'll see where he defines agentic inference. And he says, of the three types of AI workloads, the main ones worth talking about. First of all, everyone talks about training and inference. You have to break out inference into two types of inference. There's answer inference and agentic inference. Answer is when you're sitting and talking to your chatbot and you want it to respond immediately with something smart. But then there's agentic inference, which is I'm going to sleep and I want my agent overnight or 15 versions of my agent to build different pieces of my code base. It doesn't have to be a 100 millisecond response. It can be a 5-10 second response. And maybe you can have a collection of Quen models instead of GPT 5.5, right? So agentic inference enables different structure of workload, different device types that make sense for that workload. And therefore, because you don't need to be state-of-the-art NVIDIA data centers, you can have the AMDs and the TEMS torrents and the RISC-Vs and the edge compute and the NVIDIA gaming computer sitting on people's computers, each take a little piece of agentic workload, right? So Ben Thompson here says that agentic inference is going to dwarf training and answer inference. Now, right now, agentic inference is only sort of kind of bundled with the big labs. The only reason agentic inference shows up on the bar chart of you look at the three things next to each other is because it's kind of sort of what the big lab does. No one's broken that out. No one's focusing on agentic inference. Well, guess what OpenAgents is going to focus on? Particularly when we're able to now go to the off-grid Bitcoin miner in West Texas or equivalent, throwing their containers on top of flared gas wells, who've previously thought, man, we've just barely gotten our economics working, but we wish we had the ability to have exposure to AI, and maybe they don't. But we say, listen, let's get you something figured out where maybe we help you finance, but like throw some compute in there. We can guarantee some minimums that you'll make from that.
Right.
And now you've got devices and you have the Bitcoin mining floor and the agentic AI upside. So some people are calling this mullet mining, like Bitcoin, Bitcoin in the front, AI in the back, or do I have that backwards? But like basically Bitcoin mines should sort of like co-locate to some extent with AI infrastructure. There's certain software and coordination that's missing to make that like really repeatable and easy.
Yeah, I mean, we had Sterling on earlier, and he was literally talking about how you could have these spikes in the grid, specifically around what you were just talking about, the stranded energy, and you have these batteries that have to dissipate somewhere in the beginning of the day. And if as we all know, Bitcoin serves a very good use case for that, especially because with solar, everything, the way he was explaining it was like everything is on for everybody at the same time. So you have all these batteries that are filled potentially that have to dissipate, and if you don't use it, you lose it, kind of thing, right? Because the next day starts. You don't want to overload everything. And when he was explaining that, I was thinking about this, but now that you said that, this all connects. I get it.
Yeah. So the theme of this is, we call it phase 2 of our compute network. Phase 1 is our stranded consumer compute. Phase 2 is Bitcoin mining, AI, HPC. We're going to be making some very big moves here very soon. And then phase 3, as you heard all about phase 3 in our last video with Ben.
Yeah, that's what Ben's super excited about. Like, because that's his whole thing. That's what he loves doing.
And look,
and dude, then Odie already bought a boat.
We've got 2/3 of a boat. 2/3 of the.
We're not joking.
Listen, the naval fleet of the Republic of Atlantis.
If you're watching, it was for a great deal, Tim.
Now has 2/3 of a boat. So
it was a great deal.
Get ready.
Tim. If you're watching, Tim, it was a great deal.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's. I'll conclude here by saying.
Well, real quick. What about the open autopilot? When is that launching?
I don't know. Soon.
What, dude? We're already using it internally.
Well,
give the people what they want, Christopher.
No one knows about it. So we're going to be we're working.
We showed the screen, by the way, just so you know.
That's fine. So we're going to be launching that to businesses privately around Austin first, and we're basically looking for design partners and people who care and want about.
So you're
AI.
You're putting the crown jewel behind the counter. Is what
Listen, so. My general approach over the course of this series or the video series is like, I'll launch something like they say, like launch before you're ready. And I'd put out something that's raw and rough and it would kind of work. And we get feedback. And that works great for like a certain stage of company. And we're kind of like shifting into a new stage, which is before we put something out, I actually want to get more feedback and test it and make sure it's actually very solid. And like with the stuff that I want to put out, I just want to raise the quality bar.
It's pretty solid.
It's got magic to it, but it doesn't have polish. And so anyways, all that's going to happen. We need to take a few days and digest what all has happened at this event because certain of our plans and numbers are escalating in new ways. We got to follow up with the folks that we met here. What we can tell you that we're definitely doing next is we're launching Pylon and Nexus V0.2. And the people of you who have been waiting to like run workloads on your consumer devices, we're going to be doing that and ramping that up in part because we are connecting the compute and the models that we're using from that Pylon now into an actual revenue generating sales motion where we're training this like legal AI model that we're selling to lawyers. As soon as we can have customer revenue come use stuff that we're training, then we're going to start ramping up our training budget because, I mean, no one else is doing that. So let me just conclude by saying we're in a really special place here as a company in this city, that Austin, where just so much magic is converging on.
I mean, it really is.
We're just so fortunate to be surrounded by so many like good people, yourself included, Carr.
Everybody, dude. I mean, it's just a whole...
this was me ranting at my computer at my computer screen for 2 years, and now we like have a whole production studio. We got amazing people coming through here and telling their story. So we hope to just double down and triple down on that. Grow bigger, grow bigger. Okay, so I want to introduce our next guest, which is Austin. So we've known Austin for a while. We've been picking around the Pleb Lab scene, and I'm so happy that Austin has been, number one, just an amazing educator, and also starting to like educate more specifically on local AI.
Multiple times about AI,
and he's gone really deep into the weeds now of like local AI and squeezing out different things. And you know, we care a lot about this at OpenAgents because we want, you know, people to be able to control their AI. We want to reason about like what an individual can do with their local models, and then what happens when we start combining those people on the edge, those things on the edge, into aggregated markets on Bitcoin and Nostra and that kind of thing. So Austin, come tell us a little bit about what you're doing, and everyone else, thanks so much for tuning in.
Thanks, Christopher.
Thank you, Gar.
Austin Kelsey. How you doing, sir?
It was inevitable.
What do you mean it was inevitable?
We would be together again, of course, to talk about the same
everything.
old BS, you know, to talk the book.
Austin, as you guys probably are watching, he's a really good friend of mine. Very smart, young, handsome man. And yeah, I love Austin to death. Austin, I'm gonna pull up your Twitter just so people know who you are. But with all that,
a fire tweet. Not gonna lie.
Tell us what's going on and what's going on with you. How's everything going?
Good. Yeah, I mean, spending a lot of time focusing on AI, local AI, very much so. Private, you know, there's a, you know, as the cool kids say, TEE, right? Trusted execution environments. So ways of doing encrypted inference, but in general, there's one end game for us, right? And it's, are we going to be using the corporate AI products? Is that the end game? Probably not, especially for the important things that we need to do, the personal things that we need to do. And so as a dev, I've had the privilege of being at the cutting edge of AI for coding work, because all my code is open source, right?
Through Pleb Devs.
It's all going to get trained on anyway. So why not use the best tools? And that's not always a permission that we get. But then the end game, right? That's nice right now. I can use the smart AI models and use their subsidy for my coding work. But what about my personal life? What about my personal work? What about my sensitive data? And so that's, you know, I've seen for a while now that the only end game for us is private local AI that is loyal to us, not loyal to Sam Altman or Dario. You know, so I mean, that's the overall vision, and it's been cool to see what I feel like Chris is actually like that. Like I'm like maybe in the future, like 3 months in the future, but Chris is like 3 years in the future. So
yeah, he definitely like, I mean, I feel like with him, like he definitely just like, him and Tony, I feel like especially like see very first in the future, but they have Tony less so. I feel like Christopher has trouble explaining it, and it's just like he's almost like Elon Musk.
Yeah, he just talks louder.
Just like vomit it out. I love Christopher. Just like vomit it out or talks louder. But and then you like even right now it's like, dude, like autopilot. What about auto? Like we're literally using autopilot in here. Ben's using it. Ovi's using it. I'm using it. Christopher's literally.
Is that your agent? Is that the
agent that he made? And I'm over here telling him, like,
I mean, the code's out there, right? Like,
no, I'm telling him, I'm like, dude, when are we going to release this? Because I know a good product when I see it. And he's like, no, Car, we got it. Like right now, you heard him on the thing. He's like, no, we got to take our time. We got to do this. We got to do this. We got to. And I'm like, dude, you got the freaking crown jewel here. What are we? And he's like, no, you got to. So all I'm saying, he's like, yeah, you're right. And I really didn't know with that. I didn't know that until I started working with him day to day, and I started seeing it, and I was just like, what? So anyway, let's get back to you. Talk to us about local AI. I see BTC Sessions is on the train now with local AI.
Very bullish.
He's sponsored by the HRF. You're doing local AI, sponsored by the HRF. How big of an impact is local AI going to make for not only Bitcoiners, but for the rest of the world?
Yeah, I mean, so this is my, like, this is, you know, this is something that's so important to me right now. And it's something that I'm maybe just realizing over the last 3 to 6 months. You know, I've been interested in local and private AI. There's a lot of obvious reasons to be interested in that in the future and want that to happen in the future. But going back to zero, you know, thinking about the cypherpunks in the 90s, the cypherpunks, they saw the existence of really good cryptography, applied cryptography, in the open internet. And they said, because there's applied cryptography and the open internet, the state is going to die. And you're like, wait, hold on. You made a big leap there. What do you mean? Right? So, you know, they were so early in seeing that these fundamental innovations, these fundamental insights are going to lead to very powerful, you know, impactful second and third order consequences. And I feel like I just had one of those insights. Maybe I have AI psychosis. Check me here.
What is AI psychosis again?
You know, like I'm talking to my AI too much. I'm getting in my own head, right? I'm in my own echo chamber. So maybe I'm at that point, and keep me honest. But what I'm seeing is a similar insight, which is that, you know, the two things for the cypherpunks were the internet, free information on computers, networked, and then cryptography. And what I'm saying is, on one insight, what the big AI labs have figured out, OpenAI and Anthropic, they figured out that you can take intelligence, you know, maybe not wisdom, but intelligence, and you can boil it down into a file full of numbers, right? And then at inference time, you can tease out that intelligence from the numbers, right? So you can compress intelligence down into numbers. And then when you want to talk to that intelligence, it decompresses out into really smart answers. So that's one insight. Okay, we all know that. But the second insight is that you can make it really, 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 really small. You can compress it down really small to where it can run on all of our computers. And so, as insane as it sounds, I think those two ideas will kill the state.
Really?
Now I say, you know, literally kill the state, you know, it will kill the representative Leviathan of the current paradigm that we live in. That's what I mean. And that's because that, you know, so for example, GPT-4, I think that came out like a year ago, right?
Did it really? Has it only been a year?
Maybe a year and a half, right?
I mean,
because the original
like
ChatGPT,
2 years, right? Like maybe 2 years or 3 years?
maybe 2 years at this point.
Yeah,
The original ChatGPT was 3.5.
Yeah.
And then maybe they had 3.6. I don't
Yeah.
exactly remember, or Pro or whatever. But then 4 came along, and that was kind of like, okay, here's the new version. And we all were blown away.
Yeah,
by
for
GPT-4,
sure. Yeah.
right? And you
By 4,
consider that they spent, you know, tens of billions of dollars to train that.
Right.
And then they spent, you know, probably tens of millions of dollars to run it as we were all using it circa, you know, whatever it was, late 2023, I think. So, but now consider that you can run a model that is as smart as that model on your phone. Right? I'm not even talking about the laptop at this point. I'm talking about
like the
4 billion parameter model on your phone.
Okay.
Can hit the same. Now, these are benchmarks, right? These are IQ tests that we put AI models through. So that's where I'm getting my data and my claim is coming from. So, you know, how much do we trust IQ tests? You know, maybe a little bit, but not fully. So take that with a grain of salt. But that has happened. So you have something like 1,000 and 10,000. I don't know. I haven't done the math, but going from a data center to your iPhone. And that's been 2.5 years, 2 years, a year and a half, whatever it is for GPT-4. And that's just an analogy. So this is moving fast. So you know, with what was it? Sisyphus stole fire from the gods. But here, when it comes from the AI labs, they accidentally leaked it because they spent tens of billions of dollars building up all this compute and telling their investors, we're going to go hyperscale, and then we're going to deliver all the intelligence to the world, and they're going to pay us for it. And then, oops, we hyperscaled and trained the models, and then accidentally leaked the fire that you can make them extremely small and extremely efficient. So that's the bullish narrative. Take that with a grain of salt, but we're far along on that journey. Now, your local model that you can run on your MacBook isn't necessarily going to replace your GPT 5.5 model that's around today, but you can get about 90% of the way there. How valuable is that? Getting 90% of the way there of the frontier model on your local machine, extremely good privacy, maybe perfect privacy if you have it set up well. And then obviously it's free, or it's the cost of the electricity for you to plug into your wall. So that's very powerful. And back to my analogy of we turn intelligence into numbers, and now we figure out we can make it really small. That process, those two things are not driven by, some proprietary product or some workflow. Obviously, they train the models and they spin compute to do that. Mm-hmm. But these are ideas that are baked into reality itself. It's baked into numbers and math itself. You can make intelligence into numbers and you can compress them very small. That is an idea. Even if we go into 1,000-year dark age of oppression, mm-hmm. that idea will reemerge in 1,001 years. That's an idea that at this point it can't die. And so for me, that's the big realization where maybe 2 years ago, I was a little bit cynical and edgy about AI. But now I'm very bullish and hopeful because it's like intelligence was made to be turned into numbers that we can compute. And it was made to be small. And that means it was made for the individual. Mm-hmm. And so that's the big insights.
Dude, it's incredible because like I do get the sense that it has gotten better, like you said, over the past 2 years. Like we were talking about the cursor thing,
yeah,
and like even that, I feel like I was using it heavily today.
Composer 2.5,
it's
insane.
Well, it's not great. I think
it's great.
It used to be retarded, but
the old
one. But now I feel like because it's free with your cursor plan. And now I feel like it's actually I was saying it earlier, it reminds me of 5.3. Like it's to me, it's that good because in 5.3, I was just cruising down the highway. And now since it's been released, I find myself using more Composer 2.5 and less on Codex. Which I do have Codex, but I have it like, cleaning everything up. But now I feel like, okay, now let me stress test this where I can use 2.5 with multiple agents hitting the same project. Like that's what I want to try next. Hopefully I get some time today.
Yeah, I mean, how does Cursor let you like their
But I think it's from the whole Elon thing. I think it's from the whole Elon thing. So yeah, what's your thoughts on that? Like, how do you see that kind of playing out? Because if these are getting so much better, Austin, where Cursor, or I can use some really crappy model on my MacBook Pro. Like, why would I do that? Make that switch yet?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be an early adopter and you have to make the trade-off right now.
Yeah.
But I think what Cursor has figured out is that because they're a big company, obviously. They're huge. Yeah. They've grown extremely fast.
I think they're YC too, yeah.
But they're not a frontier AI lab, meaning that they don't have, I'm sure they have a team of AI researchers, maybe a few teams, but compared to OpenAI and Anthropic, where a good, third of the company is just hardcore AI research. That's not Cursor. They're making the harness, they're making the app that you're using to interact with AI. But they have, Composer 2, the last version, it got leaked that they had taken this off-the-shelf open source model. Is really powerful. Mm-hmm. I think it was either Kimi K2 or Kimi K2.5.
Right.
And then they fine-tuned it or post-trained it on all of the data, all of our conversations that we put in Cursor. And so all that Cursor needs to do, and now they just released Composer 2.5, it scores equivalently to Opus 4.7.
Oh,
the
does it
latest
really?
Claude
You
model.
You already looked at that?
Once again, according to the benchmarks.
What was that
which,
benchmark place you were talking about?
Artificialanalysis.ai is one of the better ones, but they might not have Composer 2.5 because Cursor is so closed that they don't even have an API endpoint that you can hit for their models, right? You can only use their models within their product. But we see at the very least on the intelligence score there, Opus 4.7 is that 4.7? Yeah, is number 2 in the world.
Yeah.
With 5.5. I think that's extra high is number 1. So, you would imagine Composer would maybe be number 3 or number 4 in this scenario.
Somewhere here, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which once again, they're so close that you can only use the model in their product, not over API. So I think that's why our artificial analysis doesn't have benchmarks on them.
Yeah, I feel like 5.5 is definitely king right now as far as from what I can tell. Dude, like sometimes I'm saying gibberish. I'm just like, blah, 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 a thought comes out, blah, and it just starts working. That's crazy. Like the fact that it's like knowing what I'm trying to speak, because I'm not even doing whole sentences. It's insane.
Yeah, or you misspell like half the words.
Yeah,
so it's like,
right?
oh, I think you were trying to say this, so I'm gonna do this.
And then so like I feel like if you're saying Cursor somewhere here, that's why I was saying earlier. It reminds me of 5.3. It's that good. It's good enough to where your daily driver. Up until you reach you hit some sort of like problem that you can't solve.
Yeah, like a really deep problem. Yeah, and the important thing, right? 4.7 equivalent, maybe right below, but it's 10 times faster and 10 times cheaper, like literally a 10x.
And then so so I saw BTC sessions. He brought up like he got like a 5 he got like a new Mac, all that stuff. I think Christopher's going to get us some new Macs here too as well at some point. What's the best local model that you should be running? So
I'll tell you something different than the world will tell you. So the world, I'll tell you first what the world will tell you. The world will tell you in the benchmarks that you can go see, you can easily look up or ask your ChatGPT,
right?
What's the best small local model that I can run on this or this GPU or my 64 gigabyte Mac Mini or whatever you have? You're going to get Quinn 27B.
So not this one, not the 37 Max. You said Quinn.
Yeah, and actually Quinn might not be on this list by default. But you can, if you hover up to that original list of intelligence, you can add a filter and put them on it.
Where'd you say it was? Quinn what?
Like scroll up. Not on this one. We'll scroll down a little bit. Scroll down. Intelligence. So there's a selector right there.
This one?
No, in the right middle part of the screen. Yeah, that selector. You can put in Quinn or just put in 27B. Just put in 27B. And let's zoom in. Let's see.
Is it this one?
Zoom in. I can't see. I can't read that. Quinn 3.6 27B. Exactly. Yeah. So put that in. Great. And then that sits somewhere in the stack,
I think I lost it.
Oh, we lost it. It's okay. That was somewhere like 12th place, right? So 12th smartest model in the world. And you can run it on your, 48 or 64 gig, or maybe even 32 nowadays, gigabyte MacBook. So most people will tell you that that's the smartest model. And that's a Chinese open source model. So most of the Chinese models are open source. A little bit weird, I know, but they have to do that in order to get their models in the US and to get users so that they get feedback, so that they get better. That's a little bit of the incentive there. Yeah, so we see it right there, between DeepSeek V4 and Quinn 3.5, 397B, which is kind of insane because that's literally a 3x larger.
Somewhere over here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's somewhere near.
Yeah, there it is.
So it's somewhere near 5.4.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Right. So 5.4 is a 48.9 on their intelligence
really?
scale.
Shut up. Really?
Quinn 3.6 27B 45.8.
So you're telling me it's as good as 5.4.
Mm-hmm. Well, these are the test scores,
well,
right?
What's the difference between the mini though and then just like a regular 5.4?
The mini. Oh, you're right. That is mini. Well, it's a smaller, faster model from them, but it's very smart still. I mean,
but the reasoning's not there.
We see another comparison like Claude Sonnet 4.6 Max. That's at 51. That's a little bit over to the left. To the left.
This way?
Yeah.
Got you.
Right.
Okay.
So you see Claude Sonnet for 51 versus our 27B is 45. So what is the percentage drop there? It's basically what I said. Like, what is that? 12 to
Text window, or what is this? Parameters
This is the
for-
intelligence score according to artificial
okay.
analysis, which aggregates all of the benchmarks
okay.
across the
So,
various
that's
models.
a pretty, yeah.
So it's like, okay, yeah, that's a little bit of a drop, but it's like, right, that's a
But this is-
27. That's a model that you fit on your MacBook versus a model that was trained and meant to run on an entire data center.
Yeah, but so this is one that you could run on like the top of the line MacBook Pro. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, top of the line and really kind of the midline.
Okay.
And maybe I'm going to say upper mid.
Okay.
Right. So the modern,
You
I
got to
mean,
have an M5, M4.
even an M3 or an
Interesting.
M2 if you have enough RAM.
Oh, okay.
Because this is what's nice about Mac is that they have unified memory, which means that basically you're not thinking about GPU versus your CPU. You're just thinking about one shared pool of memory for loading the model in. But nonetheless, it's an amazing model. It is actually very intelligent, but these are the test scores. And so the test scores say that Quinn 3.6 27B is one of the smartest, reasonably local models. And it's one that you should go after and definitely try it first. But my own benchmarks, my own tests, right? Because it's important, just like us, just like the smartest rich families help their high schoolers and college kids not cheat, but be perfectly set up for the SAT and all their special tests. In a very similar way, the AI labs, they do what's called benchmarking, which is they train the model on the benchmarks that the model will be measured on. So sometimes they get artificially better scores than actually
what Google
what
does,
they're capable
probably.
of.
I'm sure.
All of them try to do it.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're all trying to show off these fancy flashing numbers.
Yeah.
But from my internal tests, right? So 27B, great place to start. That's what the world will tell you. What Austin will tell you.
Oh, this is not even your pick?
It's not even my pick.
Oh, I thought this was your pick.
Mine is a few other places to the right. It is
Right. Maybe to the left.
To the right. To the right.
Where is it
Going
at?
down the bell curve.
4.44.
Right there. Gemma 4, 31B.
Oh, interesting.
Gemma
What's
4
so good about
is a
this one?
class of models from Google recently in the last 2 to 3 months. And they are small local models that are open source. And they don't do amazingly on the benchmarks. I mean, they're pretty close in comparison, maybe where 27B was a 10 or 12% drop. Maybe this is more like a 20% drop. But from my tests, my own internal tests, my tests contradict what the big benchmarks and tests say. And what my tests show is that Google's open source models that are small, Gemma 4, are the best. They're at the top of my leaderboard. And you can find mine at plebdev-bench.
Do you have your own benchmark stuff?
I do, and I'm like trying to get it a full public release, but it's plebdev-bench.vercel.app. I think is where you can
slash
find it.
what?
plebdev-bench.vercel.app.
.com slash
.vercel.app.
.vercel.
No, so plebdev.
Okay, just type it. I'm like, what is this? Yeah, there you go. All right. Yeah, you haven't deployed it. Is that it there?
Okay, I haven't deployed it or I forgot the domain. Either way, I have my own internal benchmark. It'll be coming out soon. And from my test, and this is just a vibe check myself, right? Because I don't trust anyone or anything. And my benchmarks show that the American open source models are still number one, despite seemingly the Chinese models killing it. And so, Gemma 4 is one of the families of open source small models from Google. The other one, which is a year old at this point, which is still near the top of my benchmark, is GPT OSS, which has 2 models in that family, 20B and 120B. The 20B, you will absolutely be able to run on almost any MacBook you have.
Which one is it? The OSS high or the
GPT OSS 20B? And you can look at high.
Oh, wow.
And, that will be something like, according to the test scores, that will
all
be
the way down there.
Yeah, it's all the way down there, right?
Wow.
But this is a model that was meant for calling tools. And so Well, there's a lot to say about it, but in general, the American models.
Okay. Okay.
So that's my alpha that I have for you. Gemma family is going to be the best. GPT OSS not far behind. But hey, Quinn is that's the cute girl on the block. So don't ignore Quinn.
All right. Well, Austin, thank you so much for coming on OpenAgents Live After Party something. We'll clip this. We're going to share this later. Take a listen to the podcast, YouTube, Substack, and we'll share it on socials, I'm sure. That's a wrap. I'm out of here. I can finally leave. It was.
What the heck? I got to close this out. That's
you got to close it out. I wasn't able to
gosh.
beat Brandon Keys this time. His was 8 hours, but this is definitely the longest one I've ever done. This is like 3 hours. You guys have a great weekend. We'll see you next week when we drop another OAPN. And yeah, peace.
Cheers.